Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Chris, aka Kodak Chris, and I am here with the homie Autumn. What's
Hey,
up,
what's
Autumn?
going on? What's going
What's up?
on?
And we have our lovely guest here from the other side of the world. What's up, Andrew?
What's up, guys? Feeling good?
You prefer Andrew or Andy?
Either. I don't care.
Either you don't care? All right. So what time is
All
it
right,
over there
cool.
for you right now?
It's currently 12:05 p.m. at the moment.
Mm.
Okay.
So I know you say y'all had a holiday today. What's the holiday over there?
It's the Melbourne Cup, so it's like it's a public holiday where it's annual horse racing event, like the biggest horse racing event in Australia.
That's crazy. Y'all get out for a
Yeah,
horse racing event.
basically, yeah. So we just do shit all.
That's
Okay.
dope though.
Okay.
Hey, at least you get the day off work though.
Yeah, luckily it worked out well. I was like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, so they just
So
give you the whole day off for like the horse race today?
Yeah, some businesses do. My new work, I probably wouldn't have had the day off, but because I'm in training, they're like, "Yeah, you got the day off. You're cool. You can go." I was like, "Oh, sweet."
Oh,
oh yeah.
sweet. Okay. Nice deal
Yeah, so
then.
you can work it if you want to. You just get more money if you do.
Hmm.
Yeah, that like what they do, like time and a half or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like time and a half, double time and a half, that kind of stuff.
Oh wow, okay.
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
at least in my job, it's like double time. I think for it, so it's pretty good.
Oh shit. Well,
Yeah.
congrats on getting a day off at the new job too. Like that's
It works out
glad
well.
they didn't let you do like the grunt work and shit today.
No, no, thank God. Unfortunately, the partner has to work today, but yeah, kind of works out.
Hell
Hmm.
yeah.
It's
So
kind of easy to forget to like when you live in a completely different place that other places do have holidays that are way separate from yours. And
yeah.
so
Yeah,
like just not even a thought in my mind half the time.
Yeah, I'm
not at
like
all.
the only holiday we had is not really a holiday. It was daylight savings. So we moved our clocks back.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
it.
That's a
That was
holiday. That counts as a
Yeah.
holiday.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Just daylight
to some
savings.
people.
I'm like, yeah. It's that in like what is it, like Groundhog's Day or something weird like that. I don't know. Just
Not
some weird
well, not quite
American
Groundhog's
holiday.
Day. I think that's isn't that March?
Yeah, that's March. That's like right before we set the clocks forward again. They
Yeah.
do like
Yeah.
Groundhog's Day. And if the groundhog comes out and sees his shadow, it lets us know like
That's just
a
such a
certain
weird
amount.
concept for a holiday.
Yeah, I know it's just weird American shit. It's just people in top hats. It's just a lot going on, and I'm just like, all right, bro, y'all do this every year. But yeah, anyway, enough
It's just
about
a
our
normal
whack.
thing.
Right, enough about our whack country. What's up with you? Let the people know who you are. Who is Andy?
Well, yeah, no, yeah, I am a photographer, videographer. I've been doing it for about 9 years. I've been doing it since 2014. Um, Basically, I had no aspirations in my life, so I didn't know what to do after school. And then I was like going to a gig with an ex partner of mine. She's like, "Yeah, just bring your camera. It'd be cool. Like, why don't you just do it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And I ended up shooting like the entire show. It was all like internationals and some Australian bands, but it was cool. It was like, oh, this is quite fun. And then I just kept doing it, and here we are.
How many years ago was that?
That was 2014. So it'd been like 9 years ago, I think, 8 9 years ago.
Yep. 9 years.
So were you so what type of photography were you in before like the live music and stuff? You just kind of just had
Nothing.
it as
Like
a hobby?
I just jumped. Yeah, no, I didn't do any photography whatsoever. I just had a camera when we went on holiday, so I just like take holiday snaps. But it was literally just like, oh, I could try this, and I think I followed Adam Mel Mackay's at the time, I think, and I was just like, oh, that's
Okay.
kind of cool, and then just tried it, and then it kind of worked out, and I was like, oh, can I do this more? And then I shot like a few other gigs in that same year, and then was like, "Oh, I could probably keep this going." And then it wasn't until like a year and a bit later that I actually got paid for my first gig, and then it kind of just snowballed from there, and everyone started reaching out, and it was crazy times.
Oh shit,
Okay.
yeah. that's kind of how it was for me. I started in what was it 2016? I shot my first concert.
Mhm.
Yeah, May 10th, 2016. I still remember it. But yeah, I brought my camera because I had just bought like a 35 millimeter lens, and
Yep.
I just got a camera just to like take pictures of my kids and stuff. But I didn't want to leave it in the car, so I was like, "Oh, can I bring my camera bag in just so I don't have to leave it in the car?" And then I'm watching like the little like acoustic set before the show, and I'm just like, "Oh, maybe I can take a couple pictures just for like memories," and still just
Mhm.
didn't click in my head that this was any type of option. And then the lights dropped, the first band came on, and I was like, maybe I should take some pictures. And I just started taking pictures, and I fell in love with that shit. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to do this for forever. So that's why I'm here. So I
No,
feel
that's
that.
sick.
Man, I love
So
hearing
you
that every time.
look, I'm about to say we the crazy people that started with concert photography. We had no intention on doing photography for real until we took pictures at concerts. So do you feel like that's been a gift or a curse?
Oh, Jesus. It's probably it's a bit of both, probably more of a curse because at some points there've been times where there'd be too many shows, and I just fucking hated being asked by 20 million bands, "Hey, can you come shoot my set?" On one night, there's, like, 5 shows, it's like, I can't physically do that, I'm so sorry, and having to say no is the hardest thing in the world.
It's
I was
kind
about
of
to say
crazy
what?
that like oh, sorry.
No, you good.
Um I was gonna say, that's crazy how like you have to, actually turn down work and you're like stuck. Like, how does that also make you feel?
Oh, it feels like shit, like, it sucks. It's the worst thing, I had to do it, literally this week because um, I had a gig booked, and then I had 2 other bands hit me up on the same day, and they're just like, "Hey, can you come shoot?" And I'm like, "You're both at exactly the same time," and I'm like, "I can't even go to each show anyway." It was, like, the worst thing to say no. Um, but there's been so many cases where I just, like, I have to say no for my own health and for my own
Yeah.
just plans because it's like, I've got family stuff to do, like, I can't just jump at the last minute, and some bands hit me up, like, the day on when it's like, "You should hit me up when the show was announced," like, "Why don't you?" But it's as much as I would love to do every fucking show, I can't. Just it's just not possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that just reminds me I was having a conversation with one of my homies, Nina, the other day, and we were just talking about how saturated like our industry is a lot,
Yeah,
and people like to gatekeep and not like give opportunities to other people. But it's like you just said, that was 3 concerts in one night. You couldn't go to all 3 of them. So it's just
no,
like it's enough out here for all of us. You just gotta, you know, do what you
yeah,
gotta do.
exactly. Like when I started, there was so many Melbourne photographers. Like there was, I remember going to a show. It was like a floor show in a local all ages area, and it was like 10 photographers all on the floor, which I'd never seen, and it was crazy. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And then after COVID, like there was just no one. There's probably at least that I can think of now. There's probably at least 10, maybe 15 that I can think of off the top of my head that are either starting out or have been there for a while still, but it's dipped super hard since COVID.
Yeah. I feel like it's definitely been survival of the fittest now after COVID, because like a lot of people, I don't know, like people, I feel like people get into photography because they're like, oh, it looks cool. It's fairly cheap to get into photography nowadays because you can buy you a nice used camera or a decent camera for like four,
Yeah,
five,
absolutely.
$600. Like, and you get into it, they want to do it, and then they realize very fast how hard it is to get into it. So a lot of people just don't last, and I feel like the ones that do, we're just the crazy ones.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. Usually, a lot of people, yeah, they realize the money or they realize the time and effort that it takes, and then they're just like, I can't keep up. I have to dip. I have to jump out and come back later.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
definitely. Because I would definitely have to say the entry to photography nowadays is cheap, but if you want to keep going and have like a realistic, like long term thing, it feels like the price never ends and you're constantly chasing like something new. And it's not even like the whole um what do they say, like the whole like gear envy that is like a problem now as much as it's like I actually need so many things. Granted, you can get by with a lot because
Yeah.
seeing like what I
Yeah,
do and I know like knowing what Chris does, like we get away with like a lot without having to have crazy stuff, but
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of I think that was me at the start. It was a lot of I had to I think I upgraded like maybe 3 times when I first started, and it was like within like a year and a bit that I upgraded. It wasn't until like 2019 that I like fully went Sony mirrorless and then just stayed, and I haven't changed. Kept the same lenses. Literally just bought cheap shit. So I bought like cheap fisheye lenses just to play around with, and then haven't needed anything else. I literally haven't bought another lens since it's been since yeah, it's probably since 2020. I haven't bought another lens. I just left it.
do you feel like the jump for you was more significant now that you have like stuck with just one like platform compared to you just constantly upgrading thinking like, oh, that's gonna take me to the next level, that's gonna take me to the next level, but now since
Oh,
you stay with the same platform, it's like there's no gear to say that this is quote unquote holding you back, so it's just literally you.
no.
You feel like that's been
No,
challenging you more?
no, not at all. No, not at all. I used to think that, and I used to be like, "Oh shit, I really need to like get a better camera. I need to do this." But then as soon as I upgraded to Sony, I never looked back. I didn't stop. Um, and it made everything so much more simpler. Like it made me be able to actually like take better photos because my I think I had a Canon 5D Mark III, and it was super laggy, and it just didn't focus properly at all. And then I went to Sony, and it was just like an instant switch, and I was just like, "Yep, this is where I'm meant to be." And then all the lenses I've got are just they cover every base. Like I've got all primes, so I don't have any zoom lenses, so but it caters to everything I need. And then I have a bunch of filters that I play around with from time to time, and that just helps. But again, I haven't felt the need to like, I need to get a black magic or I need to get a red camera because it'll make me better. It's like no, I'm perfectly capable with what I've got now.
mhm.
See, look, and we love some primes. What's your favorite prime?
It's probably the
Mm,
24. It's probably the 24. It's
that
the
makes
one
a
that
lot of
stays on my
sense.
lens all the times.
Yeah,
That makes a lot
I
of
was about to.
sense.
Yeah, especially you swapping between like video and photo too a lot. I'm pretty sure like 24 is like that sweet spot for you.
Yeah, it's usually the main because it's I'm always on stage or in front of the stage anyway. So it's like I don't have to change it all. I did have a 35 and then I sold it, and then got the 24 and I was like, this is the sweet spot. I didn't have to go too close, too far. It was just like the perfect middle ground for everything I needed. And then I have a 50 and an 85 that just helps. And then I've got a 12 mil and a 7.5 mil that I just kind of mess around with from time to time. But
Yeah.
24 is my main.
7.5 mil. Holy
Yeah,
moly.
Yeah.
it's an ultra wide. Didn't I? Actually, I do have it here. It's an ultra wide lens. I can show it.
Oh
Super
yeah.
small, but
I know
it's
that shit
like
probably looks like a
I could.
globe.
It's almost like yeah. It literally it's like a 90 degrees. So it's like if I'm sitting with the camera in front of me, I can see my hands if they're just in front of if they're just next to the lens. It's super wide, but it's fully manual, so it's really hard to get perfect focus. And when you do, it's amazing. But I don't use it as often now since I got my 12 mil because it's just all manual. Sorry, all autofocus. But having that was just a bit handy for just like some fun stuff that I could mess around with because it was just cool to use.
Yeah,
Oh
you could
yeah.
definitely do some really interesting stuff. And I don't personally know of anybody with anything that's wider than a 12. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I think one of the
Yeah.
photos I sent you guys is one of the photos is the fully manual one, which I've posted before. But yeah, it's a fully manual shot, and I was just like unreal that I could get it, and it makes the image look so much better.
Hmm. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
but and the crazy thing is though, like with the mirrorless and stuff too, is I feel like it will make me more comfortable with manually focusing because of the fact that like you got the EVF and you can actually see what you're doing in real time a little
Yeah,
bit compared to
yeah,
like
I
the
do it mostly
DSLR.
with I do it mostly with video. I never manual focus with anything photo related unless it's with that manual lens. But everything else is all all auto apart from video. Video is all manual based. I don't think I've ever used auto with video ever. when
Really?
when playing around and doing music videos and doing live videos and recaps and all that stuff. Like I've never used an auto option.
So you must be like a
Oh, I'm
fucking
about
surgeon with your
50-50.
yeah. I'm I'm
Yeah,
about to
mine's
say,
it's a
yeah,
bit
I'm
lucky.
not
It's been
that.
a bit of hard luck if I get a good shot.
Yeah.
Are you for your video, are you I imagine then you probably have a pretty sweet rig, or are you like twisting the focus like handheld?
Handheld. I haven't got a follow focus or anything like that, which
Holy.
I should probably get for videos, for like at least music videos, but
Yeah.
all day I'm just manually turning it, like, and like I just know exactly how to use it. And because of the Sony's um was it the peaking that helps so much. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
That is
Yeah,
actually crazy.
I'm
and
about
I
to
thought
say.
and I thought I wasn't.
Wow.
Oh no. I mean, I know a lot of people that like people that do like music videos and stuff like that. Like they have like the dials and stuff like
Yeah,
hooked
of
up to their
course.
Ronins and all of that, to like pull focus and all of that. But you out here just doing live concerts, just fully manual focus.
Yeah,
That's
fully
crazy.
manually focusing everything.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
it's
I
hard to
mean, if
master,
you,
but
yeah, I feel like once you kind of learn it, I mean, you know what to do. I feel like sometimes I'll
yeah,
get in there and I'll
exactly.
do it if I know I'm trying to do something specific. But other than that, I'm just like I'm gonna just let the autofocus do what it does, and if it misses focus, it misses focus. Like if I'm shooting video, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's my, like, my OCD brain just kinda going, "I need it to be perfect because if I miss the shot, I'm gonna hate myself and be like, 'Why did I miss that?' Like, it could have been perfect." Knowing that I can manual, I can get exactly what I need when I have it. If I have auto and it misses, I'm just gonna lose it.
So, what made you jump? Well, I know you shoot hybrid pretty much because you shoot both photo and video. But what made you take
Yeah.
that dive into video and just really just say like, "Fuck it"?
Yeah, I was doing photo, yeah, mainly, and then I think it was just one of my mates' bands was just like, "Hey, do you wanna come and just, like, film a music video?" And I was like, "I've never done it in my life." Like, I've always wanted to, but I was like, "I've never done it." And he's just like, "That's cool. We just wanna film a video." And I was like, "Sweet, no worries." And I just did it, and I just gave it a shot, and the video still lives on my hard drive. It's not something that's available publicly because it's even the band's like, "We don't like." It's not that they hate the video, it's just that the band's defunct, and they were like, "We don't want any evidence of this because they thought the band sucked." Um,
Yeah.
but it was pretty interesting jump, and then it kind of got me into like, okay, well, I could do it more now, and then I incorporated that into live stuff where I was like just filming little bits and pieces, and then I end up just being like, hey, do you guys want like a video recap of your set? And that ended up being like a super good like bundle deal that bands like jumped on because they're like, oh, we can get photos and a video, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, sweet, we'll take it, and they didn't have to hire two people; they could all do it through one, and made like my work double so quickly, so
Oh
quickly.
yeah.
Yeah, video is pretty important too, especially. A lot of people are afraid to jump in because it's harder. I would say there's definitely more of a skill
Yeah,
gap to it.
definitely.
But when you do figure it out, like the benefits of figuring it out are very, very lucrative.
Yeah, yeah. The amount of bands that would choose to do, they would hire two people. It was just crazy. And then all of a sudden, I think, yeah, I can't remember who said. Someone said it to me and just said like, "I'm just doing video as well," and I was like, "All right, I'll try and offer it." And I offered it to like a couple of bands when I started doing it, and they were like, "This is pretty good." And then I started getting a workflow and starting doing it like within like 48 hours. I'd pull out a video like 30 seconds to a minute, send it off, and then started
Yeah.
getting better and better and being able to do it in like 24 hours, send it off, done. And bands loved it. And they were just like, holy crap, like this is so sick. So easy to do something, film an entire half an hour set and then have a 30-second video 24 hours later was like a gold mine. And people were just like, oh my God, we have to get this because it was just such a good deal. Because I think I made it like a bundle deal of like $200. Like, hey, you want get photos and video straight away. And then they just jumped. It was so quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, especially nowadays with like the TikToks and the Instagram reels and YouTube shorts, like video is king. And I'm
Mm,
like telling people like, yeah, photo, like don't get me wrong, you can make money doing just photo, and if that's your lane, that's your lane. But longevity wise and like content creation wise, and even like going out on the road with bands and stuff like that, they're more inclined
yeah.
to hire somebody that can do both or mainly video, because they video clips are everything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly right. Exactly right. The amount of times that bands need both, even with like festivals and stuff like that. I was out with a band doing a big headline set in, or sorry, they were main support at a big festival in Melbourne, and I was just like, oh hey, I'll just message them, and I said, hey, do you need photo and video? And they said, oh yeah, we'll do both, and it was just that simple that they took it, and
Mm,
having that kind of jump is perfect because again, TikTok and reels and all that stuff is just massive. Like I still do these little bursts where it's like a GIF that made out of like a couple dozen photos, and I used to send that to a few bands. I did some recently, and they still tag me in like their TikToks or their reels where they'll use that
mm,
and then like hype up a song, or they'll use it with like promoting a show, being like it's just so simple to have that little bit of, I guess, like media in your portfolio, just to be like, I can do this, and then bands can just use whatever they want. I have people taking like my raw footage, and I just let them do whatever they want to it, and be like, look, you can take it and use it. Some
yeah.
bands just want the footage. Some bands will edit them themselves. Like it's just so handy to have in your, I guess, your gear specialities.
Oh yeah. I've definitely kind of adapted that. Sorry about my loud train, it always comes by as soon as I'm recording. But yeah, I've started to like adapt more when it comes to like the bands. Like I'll do like 30-second clips or like 1 minute just straight clips of me recording, because even if I don't make a recap or something, like I'll let them know like, hey, if I'm doing video for y'all, like I'll throw y'all the raw clips too, because just people, they can just post it up. Obviously if I make a
Yep,
recap, that's a recap of the show, but they can easily just post up the video and throw like a filter on it and do what they do with it. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because I'm more of a photo guy than video
yep,
guy. So I'm just like, hey, do whatever you want with it. But um my favorite thing, I just love taking videos. I feel like I take some dope video clips and stuff like that. It's just that
yep.
editing portion is just so tedious for me. I just always want to pull my hair out every time I'm trying to edit video.
Yeah, it's I've been there with like, yeah, especially when it's a song that you can't quite edit the beat to. Some of them are really hard, or it's just the clips aren't working in time because you try and sync them into a way that makes them look like they're playing that song. It's really
Yeah.
tricky. I've had that a few times, but it gets easier when you've planned ahead and you go, okay, I need the song and I know what song I'm filming, and it helps a little bit, but you can't plan for it all.
Yeah. Um I tell people like, definitely coming in asking the most questions. Not only does it like help you out beforehand, especially like you saying, you if you know you coming in and you doing a recap video for this band, you can ask them like, hey, what song would y'all want me to do a recap video to? If it's like, oh, we got this new song coming out, or we just dropped a song, whatever, they can have you do it to that. So when they play that song in the set, to get more clips of like them singing, up close playing, like so it goes along with the video. But
Yeah, exactly right.
um and it also makes you look more professional too when you asking those type of questions. But it
Hmm.
also just helps you for future reference. But yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like definitely expanding that and just asking like more questions, so you better prepare when it comes to video, because you definitely got to think it out more. I think I was talking to Autumn about that like before. I was like, I feel like when I'm shooting video, I can't just like spray and pray when I'm shooting video. I have to like think about editing while I'm shooting the video, which
yeah.
makes it a little bit more like difficult in my mind.
Yeah, no, definitely. I could another thing that I've thought about too, like building on what you were saying is uh research 100%. Like you almost have to research, look at previous sets that this like band or artist or DJ is doing and stuff, figure out when they're doing stuff so that you understand timing if maybe they're not like someone you typically listen to or work with. Because
Yeah.
usually if there's someone that you like listen to a lot or like you're going to their shows personally because you just enjoy that, like you can kind of tell when certain things are going to happen or like you keep up with that. But otherwise, I would say like you have to kind of research to know with video versus photo. You don't have to think about those things. You can kind of just go and just feel it out, because video kind of requires you to almost pre-record a little bit before it so that you know you get the moment and don't miss it. Whereas like photo is just you tap that button, usually leave it on like high speed and you're chilling.
Spray and
So,
pray.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
literally
literally.
spray and pray.
Yeah, I've had that a few times with video. Recently with a mate's band that I've photographed like every show they've done since they've become a band, which is sick. So I've learnt their routine and learnt how they play and how they do things. And especially the past show I did for them, they were like, I we have like a group chat because they just message me all the time, and they're just like, "Hey, we're playing this show. We want to do it for this song." I was like, "Sweet, no worries." And then they were like, "Oh, hey, we're doing things differently. This is what we're doing during the set. This is when we're Boba's going to stand behind the drum set and make a face at me or play towards me." And I was like, "Sweet, perfect." And I knew exactly when those points are in the song. They said, "Oh, it's during this chorus or during this part of the song." Um, yeah, it's super handy to have that research, or at least like if it's like a bigger band, because you know some bigger bands have like a routine in how they play. They might be like, okay, cool. They do like a punk jump here, or they do a synchronized headbang here, or something like that, or they get out into the crowd and do things. Having that little bit of preemptive research helps so much because you just know how they're going to play and how they're going to react. Especially when if it's a band I haven't shot, I will and I ask them for the song. I'll listen to the song first, and then I'll kind of go, okay, well, I know when they're singing. I know when so and so screaming in the background. I know when so and so is going to do like a big drum fill here. It's like I can use that to my advantage and go, okay, cool. I need to be here, here, here at these points during the song to make it work. But yeah, the research is super important sometimes when it works out. It if you got the time, just do it and just have that little bit of memory in there just to pull that out when they're playing because then they'll be like, oh shit, how'd you get the shot? It's like, oh, I just knew when you were playing it, and it just
Hmm.
makes them be like, oh my god, you actually listen to the music, you actually like listen to how we play, and like, yeah, we understand.
And people
Yeah.
forget that this is actually a job too. Like I know it's fun.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
fun
it
job,
does feel like that
but
sometimes.
it is a job. So like the more research you do and the more that you can like separate yourself from the rest of the people and stuff like that, like that's what you should do. So if it's like, hey, you gotta listen to those songs before you get there, like listen to their most popular songs, look up a live set that they might have did, or look up through their social media and stuff. Like, do what you got
Yeah,
to do to prepare yourself and get ready. And it's just like that's what I do. I sit there and prepare myself, get ready before I'm going to the show, so I know and I put myself in that mindset before I go. And it's like it can be over dramatic to other people, but that's why I get what I get.
exactly right. Exactly right. I usually do it for like the either the bands I know a lot, or if it's like a really big band, then I'll kind of preemptively look at that. But yeah, it's just makes it so much easier, and you look a lot more professional when you know the music and you know the band. You're like, cool, I know how they react, so let's just go, and then they'll be impressed with the end product by that stage.
Yeah, exactly. It's because then especially too, like if you especially like don't really know them all that well, then you can always hit them with this and be like, "Oh, hey," and then they're like they've got it in your head that like you might care or you might not, but like it still gives the illusion that you kind of like really are into it and really care, which like isn't entirely a bad thing. Like you're there for a job and everybody has to do stuff that like sometimes like they don't want to or like don't like how do I say this better? Like something that like they're not familiar with. And so like I think it's really cool to do that stuff because then that helps you establish that connection with them, which then
Yeah,
like lets you create that sort of like relationship with them and be like, "Oh no, like this person really does like care about us." And it's like in a way, yes, but I just really care about my work and putting out like good stuff. And so I always when you can tell like a photographer or videographer is like rehearsed, that's when I'm like, oh, they know what they're doing. They're awesome at their job. And I'm like, that's always just so sick.
Yeah, I've had like bands literally just go, just do what you want, just film whatever you want. We don't have any like set things. Just feel it out. Just do whatever you feel like is good. And like I think at what gig was it? It was last year at a festival called Full Tilt, and it had like North Lane and a bunch of other bands. And I was working for In Hearts Wake, who were like the second last band, and yeah, the vocals was just like, "Hey, lovely to meet you. Um, just do what you want. Like we don't have any set things. Like we don't have anything like that we need. He's like, just do what you want. We trust you. Like your work is sick. Like just do what you want and go for it. And I was like, all right, sweet. So I just like did my thing and ran around the stage and knew kind of two songs that I wanted to film because they were like the most popular songs I had. And I was like, I have to film this and that'll work out well. But having just that little bit of professional confidence with them and just being like, oh, cool, I can just do whatever the fuck I want, and they're not gonna they don't need anything particular. They don't have their set like, oh, we need these things for our TikTok because this is what's important. But it's like, no, they just be like, no, we know what's good. Just do it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome that like they like trusted you enough with that. And that's also got to be a good feeling too, especially and to like hear it from like a band that big too cuz Northlane is sick. So like
Yeah.
they've got kind of a reach, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't Northlane, but it was In Hearts Wake who was the next band. But yeah, I
Oh,
never met it.
okay.
Never met any of them. It was the first time I'd met them, and I barely even spoke to them when I got there because I just got into their little like tent, and they were just like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." And then they kind of were doing all their warm ups. So like, I just kind of stayed in my little corner and just like did my thing. But super nice, and they were just like, "Yeah, do whatever the fuck you want." Like, "Yeah, we're cool with chill with
Oh,
anything." And they
okay.
were playing to the camera and doing all cool things. Like they knew what they wanted. They just did whatever they wanted to do and knew how. Like when they saw me in their space, they kind of went, "Oh, I'm going to do something cool for the camera. I'm going to do this," and it just worked out well.
Oh
It was
yeah.
sick.
Yeah, there's that synergy. That's sweet.
Yeah. People, man, I mean, I feel like people don't understand, especially with live music and stuff too. It's just such a feel and like an atmosphere. So the
Hmm.
fact that even though it was like your first time meeting them, I'm sure they had seen your work obviously because they hired you. But
Yeah, of
just
course.
see your work and just be like, okay, this looks like something that we would like. It just saying like, hey, do your thing, and we just gonna vibe out, and we know you're gonna capture it, and just you just being comfortable in that situation because it's like muscle memory at that point. You know, when
Yeah,
you done shot
basically.
so many shows and did so much stuff, so it's just like just getting a feel for the people that you're around and making them feel comfortable with you being around. And a
Yeah,
lot of
exactly
people
right.
don't realize how important that part of it is. Making the people around you comfortable to do stuff for your camera.
Yeah, exactly. Once they feel comfortable and they can just be like, "Oh, cool, I can be silly," or I can be like, "Hey, um, you have to watch me because I'm gonna do something like this." And it's like, "Oh, cool, I'll stick by you, like, I'll watch you." Like, they wanna play up in front of the camera, they wanna have fun. It's just like, "Oh, good, that makes my job so much easier where I don't have to be like, a fly on the wall and have to, like, search everything, be like, I have to watch really carefully what everyone's doing and have to run to this side." It's like, I just don't need to, I can just chill out and just be like, "Alright, cool, I can just do whatever the fuck I want."
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, that's so sweet.
yeah. I was to say. So what's probably like the what would you say is like a full circle moment that you hit uh with like your years of shooting and stuff like that? Because you're going on 10 years, but you're 9 years in. What's like that full circle moment
Yeah.
that you were just like, damn, I see
Um,
I've been
it was
working.
probably it was probably oh, Jesus. That's really hard to think of. Probably it was probably shooting my first festival. That was, like, massive for me, even though I wasn't getting paid for it. It was, like, working under publication, but it was my first, like, big thing that I'd done, and it was the first kind of festival thing I'd experienced, so I wasn't too sure, but, like, as soon as I did, I literally before I walked into the actual photo pit, like, I stood there for a split second and went, I'm here, like, I'm meant to be here, like, this is so much this feeling is euphoric, like, all the people were there, like, I'm in front, like, this is sick, like, I don't have I want to be here, like, all my life, like, I wanna keep doing this forever because it was just a surreal moment to be there and be in front, and it's always what I wanted to do, like, I always wanted to cover a festival, so when I got approved, I was, like, making everything possible to get there and do it properly, but it was definitely, like, a full circle of, like, oh shit, like everything's paying off. Like I'm here. Like I'm good enough to be here. And then like having all the stuff to prove after that was just like icing on the cake. Like everything's just kind of snowballed and it just made me go, yeah, I'm happy here. Like this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's dope. I love those moments. Like I definitely I'm one of those people like I'm super dramatic when it comes to everything, and I'm like I romanticize life so much. So whenever I'm doing something, like I never take it for granted. So it could just be anything. Like I could just be a band I used to listen to, taking pictures of them, or like just getting a press pass to somewhere, even if it's not even being hired by the band. Like if it was like at a festival or something, and I'm just like, oh damn, like that was me. I feel like my first full circle moment probably was when I don't know if you remember the band Real Friends or know the band Real
Yep.
Friends, but
Yeah.
yeah, when I first shot Real Friends, it was I was at Warp Tour and I was in the just a regular person, like in the crowd or whatever. I had my camera and I took some dope shots of them from the crowd. And
Mhm.
I think that was in like 2016 or something like that. Probably like that summer. And then ended up meeting up with them at like they did the shows at like the bowling alleys and stuff like that. So went to one
Oh
of
yeah,
those
that's sick.
shows, met the homie Dan, and he was just like, "Oh, you're Ayo Chris from Twitter, right?" That's back in the day before I was Kodak Chris. It was Ayo Chris,
Yeah.
but he was like, "Yo, like I love the photos, this and that." And then I got to shoot their show, and it was just crazy because like the first time I saw them probably was like 2012, 2013, and then
Hmm.
like the first time I'm just like, oh man, I'm sitting here like talking to one of these dudes, and I'm taking pictures at their concert, and then I got a press pass at Warp Tour, so I shot the final Warp Tour, and it was just
Yeah.
like mind blowing to me, and I'm like I still have those moments like all the time, but it's just like
Yeah.
those moments is like it makes it worth everything. All the blood, sweat, and tears, all the times you want to throw your gear away and everything, you just have that moment where you're just like, all right, yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it, and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, it's like those little like networking moments that you don't notice that just happen to work out well. Like, yeah, you just went and shot, and you're like, I'm just gonna post this, whatever, and then all of a sudden they happen to see it, or someone points it in their direction, and you're like, oh crap, they actually noticed it. That's sick. And then it ends up being, talking and getting to know them, and then going, oh, well, let's just see how far this can go, and then having them go, yeah, come and shoot this, come shoot that. It's like that's awesome to have. Like just having that little bit of, I guess, like confidence push of someone else going, I've noticed you. Like let's do stuff together.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I know I personally have been experienced I experienced that a couple weeks back when I was in Vegas and I had brought my camera to this party that I was going to, and it was like an invite only type thing for a lot of big streamers in the circle that I'm a part of,
Yep.
for a game that my friends and I have all grown up playing. And it was cool to like walk in and like just like flash my camera and be like, hey, I'll be like covering and stuff, and for a guy to come up and be like, hey, make sure you come up to us at the end, we want to make sure that you get paid because we've seen your work before and we know that it's going to be good. And just for like literally since the event like 2 weeks ago, people are still even to this day like DMing me being like, hey, like we really like your pictures, we really appreciated you like coming out, and they're like saying this on their streams to like couple of them have like between hundreds and or thousands of people watching them,
Wow,
just to
Jesus.
like for them to be saying, "Oh, like we were so thankful to have you there. We can't wait to have you at future events and stuff, and you did such a great job for us, and like thanks for capturing the memories." And I was just supposed to be there as like a guest, like shooting for fun, and it turned into like a paid gig where like they had already seen stuff that I'd done before and liked it. And so that
Yeah,
felt
gotcha. Oh,
it feels awesome to like be
super
like, "Oh,
super
like
validating.
yeah, yeah, definitely." And that was like my full circle where I was like, "Wait, I'm like here with like my gear doing what I love." Like, and I'm surrounded by not only my friends, like people that I love, but like people that I've looked up to and I've been watching since like early high school days even. Like just crazy feeling to me.
And it's crazy because
That's
it
sick.
just
That's
it
so
just
good.
keeps it just keeps going up. Like it just keeps leveling up. So
For
next thing
real.
you know, you're gonna be flying out to Vegas again. Somebody gonna be flying you out for a shoot or something, and then you're gonna meet another person that you've been looking up to, or you're gonna connect with this other people, and it's just gonna it just never stops. It don't stop
It
unless you
Ah,
stop.
keeps
That's what
getting
I tell
better.
people.
Yep.
Yeah.
even the last gig I shot, it was my friend's band. That was their final show. They've been a band for like 10 years, and they were like, "Hey, look, we're going on like a hiatus," and they messaged me and said, "Hey, do you want to come and shoot it?" And I've been friends with their band since like 2015. And it was like I shot one of their first, or sorry, one of their shows when they were a previous band, same band members, just different band names slightly. And at the show, they were just like saying, like they halfway through the set, they're like, "We want to thank these people," and they were thanking like their one of my mates who's another photographer who's like shot all their promos and all their like live sets. He was there, but he wasn't doing anything. But they thanked him, thanked the sound guy, and then as they were like, "Oh, we want to get a group photo. This is Andrew. He's been shooting us for like 7 years." And I was just like, "Oh shit! Like that's so nice. Like you didn't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. You just say Andrew's gonna take some photos, whatever." But they were just like, "Thank you, like thank you for taking photos of us for so long." And they're like, "You took us at this show this so long ago." Um, it's like we both went in the same trajectory, and it was just like a cool, like little, like, oh, I didn't even need that, but it's just like we've been friends for so long that it just happened to like be thankful and be like validated, be like, yeah, they've noticed, and they've noticed the work that we do for those artists, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, see, it's funny that you say like you didn't even need that, but like secretly, you kind of did need that. That validation is what keeps you here, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
It's what motivates you to in fact get better, you know, like come back like swinging super hard and be like, "Yo, like you've liked what I've done for the last 7 years, just wait for the next 7 years where it gets even crazier." So,
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a good
that's
point. That's a
sick
good
to
point.
hear. That's so sick to hear. I love that we all have like good full circle moments, you know? That's
Yeah.
so sick.
It's just further confirmation that like you're supposed to be where you are. And like I say, I'm
Exactly.
super dramatic when it comes to this type of stuff, but I'm just like anything that's a constant in my life or anything that I know that I'm like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to everything that's for me, I'm gonna get. Everything that's not for me is not for me. I'm not gonna get it. But everything that I do get, it's for me, and I worked hard to get it. So I don't take it for granted, and I love every second of it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, same. It's just I didn't think I was going to do anything after high school. I didn't have any like ideas of what I wanted to grow up to be. Like I had nothing. Like I was just like, oh, I'll just start working and whatever, and then just being able to shoot a show, and then it just kept going. And it's like, oh, I'll shoot another show. I'll shoot some more, and then having people come back and go, I remember when you started. There's a girl that I'm still friends with, and she was just, and I shot her little brother's band, and we hadn't seen each other for years, and she came up to me and she was like, "Oh, you remember?" I said, "Yeah, I remember you. I remember you." And she's like, "Yeah, I sold you your first camera," and I was like, "Oh my god, you did! Like you're the first camera I bought properly." And she's like, "I technically started your photography thing," and I was just like, "Yeah, basically you did. Yeah, basically you started
That goes
it."
so hard. That's so good.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
and it didn't even like point to me, and I was just like, "Oh my god, you actually did that for me." And then she's just like, "I got you a good deal." I'm like, "Yeah, you did." She's like, "You have to thank me at some point." I'm like, "Yeah, one day I will."
He like one day, maybe when I hit my 10-year mark, I'll thank you.
Yeah, I'll do a special post.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
cute though.
so I was gonna say, so you've been doing shows and stuff like that. Have you toured at all or
I
um
haven't toured in a long time, but I did. What I do? I did it during like 2016. I did like 3 tours in a row or in succession, and I did like a few like little weekenders. But that's about it. I haven't done touring anymore just because I've got a family now, so it's just like it's not on my bucket list. I'd love to do one more, but yeah, I think I've done
I
about
feel that.
four or five tours, and I kind of just went, yeah, cool. I'm good now. I'm good for a little bit. I can wait. I can wait for the next opportunity. But at the moment, it's just like nah. But it was fun when I
Mm,
did it. I did. I think I did two back to back, um, and then I did a small weekender, and then I did another like 3 weekends in a row of like they were calling it a tour, but it was basically just like, hey, we're traveling to X state on one weekend, next state the next weekend, and so forth, and did it that way. Um, but yeah, it was sick when I toured. I loved touring. It was fun. Sleep wasn't great, but that's what you get, really.
Yeah. What's something that you wish you knew before your first tour? Because because
Learn to sleep
we
in
all want to
vans.
get
Learn to sleep in
yeah.
vans.
Because everybody wants to go on tour, but as soon as they go on tour, they instantly regret it a little bit. But it's
The
like
first time I did it wasn't too bad.
yeah. I was
It
like,
was probably the last tour I did. We did one overnight drive, and it killed me the next day. I was so tired, and I was like shooting the show, and I had to like go to the toilet and throw up because I was so like I was just so sleep deprived and like dehydrated. I was just like it was like a 40-degree day. It was the shocking way, but it was yeah. I need to learn. I've learned now I can sleep anywhere, which is great. So I wish I learned that like a few years back.
yeah, I can I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep fully clothed, and I
Yeah.
can go to the bathroom anywhere. I'm not poop shy. I know that's TMI,
Yeah.
but when you're on tour, you gotta go where you gotta go. So
Exactly
hey,
No,
right.
literally.
yeah, that's
I just thought I'd point it out, by the way, that 40 degrees Celsius is 104 degrees Fahrenheit for
Oh yeah, I forgot
all
the
of us
weather's
like
different.
all of like
yeah,
American people who should just know that. I was just like thinking about that and doing the math in my head, and I was like, oh yeah, wait, we should probably tell the viewers so that they could know like homie
It's
was
different.
really going through it.
no, he was really out here.
And
Then
I
of
think that
course you
was
got to
in
be from
that yeah, that's in our summer. It was in January, and it was in a small, like, 150 cap venue, and it had no aircon. So
oh,
it sucked. It was so hot. It
Oh
was
boy.
shocking. It was shocking, but it was a good show, but yeah, halfway through the set, I was just like, "I need to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna throw up." And I just, like, sat in the bathroom through their whole, like, last of their set, just, like, in the toilet throwing up and just being like, "I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm all over."
how was the shots though?
Oh, they came out sick. They
This-
came out sick. The ones I
yeah,
got very
Yeah.
good.
yeah, and that's
What's
all that
up?
mattered. Nobody would have ever known you threw up halfway
No
through
one
the
ever
set.
knows until now.
It was worth it. No, that's sick.
Yo,
Oh, I love that.
yeah,
Holy
it,
shit.
it's those days, man. Like when you like come in and roll into the venue, and people just think like, especially like they first tour. I don't know, like some people are lucky and they might get a tour on a big artist and that might be their first tour, but some people they start in shitty vans and no air conditioner and you just sleeping in the grocery store parking lot and you just fucking hot and sweaty and just malnourished, dehydrated and lack of sleep
Yep.
and y'all just smell like a gym sock and y'all just rolling through
Yeah,
these
basically.
venues and just fucking just doing it, just really grinding. So yeah.
Yeah, I think luckily never had any of those like sleeping in a car park or anything. All the tours we did, like we always stayed somewhere, or it was like an overnight drive and we just drove through the night because that's just what Australia does because we only have a few capital cities that you usually play. So it's like you have to kind of
Yeah.
either if you're doing it in a one stint, you have to do overnights or fly. But most of the time, yeah, we drove everywhere, so it was a bit shocking. But sometimes we'd be lucky and we'd stay in a hotel or we'd book an Airbnb or something like that. But yeah, I think I only did maybe two overnight drives and yeah, did not sleep a good wink of it. It was shocking.
Hmm. Marked
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah. I was about to say, and then overnight drives in a country that the environment is actively trying to kill you must be crazy because Australia is
Look, it's not that
wild.
bad.
Like
I mean, that's what you
I
see
want
on social media these days.
oh my god. All I see is like if I type in Australia like TikTok or something, you just see these huntsman spiders, you see these kangaroos just boxing it out in somebody's front lawn while they're trying to go to work. And it's just
Look,
like, bro, it's too much.
look, it's like every time someone like if it's like an American going like, "Oh, you're from Australia," like, "Oh, do you ride kangaroos?" "Oh, there are emus everywhere. Oh, the huntsman's like that big." I'm like, "Yeah, the huntsmans are that big, but I've never seen one that big." I live. It's usually if you live in the country and live in like outback, that's where you'd probably see it. But in like standard like metropolitan areas, like where I am, you don't see anything like that. We do have an area where there is kangaroos, so I could potentially ride one, but I wouldn't say it's safe.
Yeah, they're a little terrifying.
They can be when they're
Yeah.
like, stuck up and like, tensed up, ready to punch.
Uh,
Luckily I've never hit that point. I've never hit that point, but they'd definitely be a lot bigger than me. I'm a very short guy, so they probably tower over me these days.
oh yeah,
S
they like lean back on their tail and shit. I just saw a video of a
Yeah.
kangaroo like trying to like drown a dog and shit. So he
Yeah,
just
that was a
like
good video. I saw that one.
I've
he's
also
just
seen
standing
that
there
one.
like just buff as fuck, and the owner is just like, "Hey, let him go," and he just sitting there like
Yeah.
dipping the dog's face in the water and stuff. I'm just like,
Yeah.
bro,
Funny how
just
there's
nah.
another video of the same thing, but it's, like, on land, and it's, like, got a dog in, like, a headlock, and he just
Oh
walks up
yeah,
and just, like, punches it full in the face and just goes, "Stop that," and then all of a sudden the kangaroo kinda goes, "Oh, what was that for?" And then, tried to have a go at him, but just punched him back, and then it was just like, "Oh, I see how it is," and just hops away.
yeah, that's
Oh
so
my gosh.
crazy, man.
Wait,
Australia
so
isn't that crazy.
are you saying that you've never woken up with, like, a spider on your shoe or, like, in your shoe or, like, on you or anything like that? No snakes in the
Nope.
toilet?
Oh god, no, there's no snake, unless you live near, like, bushland area, but it's not common, I swear. As much as, like, social media makes it seem like it is, it's like, I've never I've never seen a snake in, like, a city area like where I live. I've never seen a spider sorry, a snake in that kinda area. I've seen huntsmans, but they're just standard size, they're not, like, dinner plate size like you see on on social
Well,
media.
those are just big. They won't, like, actually do any real damage to you. I know that much.
No, they'll just kind
But
of scare you, that's about it. They'll pounce a little bit, but they don't attack or anything like that.
I
It's only
like
if
how
you
you
provoke
said
them, really.
I like how you said standard size because you're Australian. So standard size is probably like the size of my hand or something. I'm assuming, right?
Sand
But
size is probably about that big, maybe.
yeah,
oh
yeah.
boy.
Like no,
It's not
it's
it's
not
not
that
big.
big.
They're not massive, but yeah, I've seen big ones, but yeah, they're usually in the
Yeah,
country, so it's like far away from here, far away from here.
Okay. So
yeah.
as long
So
as
so
I've always wanted to come because 'cause I've got friends out there and stuff. Because especially some of the people that came to visit, for, like, the con that was in Vegas that I was at a couple
Yep.
weeks ago. I've always wanted to grow, and I've grown up, like, having this fear even when I was, like, in elementary school, like, because I was, like, so interested in, like, knowing about all the dangerous things just to find out that, nah, it really isn't that bad unless you're in, like, the bush or, like,
Yeah.
actually, like, the real outback type stuff.
Yeah, it's really just that. If you're in like just like if you go to Melbourne and you just stay in the city, you will never see a snake or spider. Probably never. Only if you start going into like bushland, outback is like middle of Australia kind of thing. Bushland stuff is just usually just like nature reserves and stuff like that. You'll see like a snake going across the ground, but that's about it. Usually you'll see more koalas, echidnas, wombats. That's all you'll really see in the outback these days, but and kangaroos, but yeah, never really any huntsman's the size of dinner plates.
you got to be
Okay.
careful with the koalas because don't they got like syphilis or something crazy or herpes or something? I don't know.
Chlamydia.
Yeah.
Chlamydia. All right, like yeah,
Yeah.
like that was better. Like yeah,
Again, you don't get
you gotta be you
you
gotta
don't
be
get
careful of
you
the
don't get
crazy
that close to
koalas.
them.
Yeah.
No, usually it's just they're in the trees, so it's usually they don't hurt or attack or anything unless you're a stupid little kid who walks up and be like, "I'm just gonna pat one," and then get attacked by one. But
Oh no.
no, they you'll be fine. You won't get chlamydia, I promise.
Yeah. So I'm just learning basically if I come to Australia, just stay in the major cities, don't go in the outback, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be fine. I can be assured of that.
All right, that's good. So the outback is pretty much like the Florida of y'all's thing. Florida out here
Yeah,
for us is just you just
that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, you go to Florida, it's just you seeing alligators walk across the street and stuff. It's just too much going on down in Florida. So I just
Yeah,
feel like
that's too wild down there.
Aus-
So I've heard.
yeah, I feel like Australia is just a bigger Florida.
Have you guys seen the TikToks of that guy who goes out into like the Everglades at night and he'll be like, "Oh, look at that swamp puppy," and he'll be like slapping an alligator on the head and like
Yeah.
grabbing
Just
like
tapping it.
spiders and stuff and be like, "Yoink!" It's like this
Oh,
dude's got all of his toes right next to that thing's mouth, like, and you're just
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's just like an alligator. Like that's my homie," and it's just like this dude is completely fearless.
it's just like, don't touch
Yeah.
it. Don't get near it. But it's just like, yeah, I can touch it. It's fine. It's not gonna kill me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
he
Or
just
oh, look
I
at that
seen
cottonmouth.
yeah, like I seen something he like grabbed a big old iguana and was just like, look at this little guy. And he was like, oh, he's mad that I picked him up. Like, yeah. What do you think?
It's like, no shit.
Florida people are a different breed, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's kind of like the bogans of Australia. So the real Aussie guys.
Fair
So
enough.
I'm about to say, let's get into some of your work. Let's pull up some of these shots. I'm
All
happy
right,
to see.
I would love to see more of your work.
let's do that.
Right after our quick bio lesson.
Right, right after our Discovery Channel lesson.
Yeah, basically. All right, there you go.
Oh, and who is that?
I'll show.
Skillet? What does that say?
So that was they were my friends in a band called Terra, and they were supporting
Mm,
Skillet on in Melbourne at a big play at a big venue called the Forum. Really sick band. This is when I had my Canon at the time. It's just funny enough, Canons had that option where you could do a double exposure. So I had this knack where I would flip my camera from side to side and do an exposure on two sides. So it'd
Oh,
be
that's sweet.
a kind of a reverse. So there's the seam in the middle, so it kind of works out, but it would do you just take two photos and it would magically piece them together, and then but still have two photos as spares if you needed them. But that was
that's
sick. It was a
crazy.
thing I used to do for ages, but then obviously Sony just didn't allow me to do that, or at least I don't think I can do it properly. Um, but yeah, super love the photo. I just love the colors and how it came out. Like it just looks sick. I just loved it. It was just perfect.
Yeah, those I love the red isn't like overpowering her skin tones or anything like that.
No, luckily the front lights were like really nice. Usually support like opening support bands aren't great for lights.
Yeah.
They
Yep,
usually don't do it the best, but they're doing a lot better nowadays where they're giving supports a better lighting for it.
definitely. That's also cool because that's such a unique thing. Because I don't see people doing the double exposure thing anymore unless it's like for fun, and they're usually doing it with like the Polaroids and stuff like that instead of just like
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't do these anymore, which sucks because I just like I'd love to get back into it because it's just something fun. But I used to do a bunch of the exact same thing where I'd have yeah exactly the same way, just be slightly different photos. I think I did one of like Polyphia and a bunch of other acts. Like I just did the
oh,
exact
that's
same thing,
sweet.
but it comes out really cool. But I that was the first one that came to mind where I was like, oh, I have to put this one in the group because it was just sick. It was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah,
now you
that's
just gotta flip your camera and then do everything in post now, which makes it harder, but
Yeah, literally, I just have to do it that way, which is annoying, but makes sense.
mm-hmm.
This one's obviously like the 1975. This is on their tour in like 2019, I think. What was the date on this? Do I have the date? It will tell me.
I think I saw them on that tour. Pretty sure I saw them on that tour. Yeah.
When was this? 2019. And yeah, this was my first like another super big. I haven't shot super big internationals. This was like probably the big one where I was like, holy crap, like this is massive. Because the
yeah.
social media interaction I got after these posted was crazy. I didn't realize what a fandom was until I witnessed 1975's fandom go crazy over my shots. Um, but yeah, this was just the sick shot of just him pointing out to the camera, pointing out to the crowd. Lighting was just like perfect. They had all these LEDs. It just like it works so well, and it was like great timing. I think there's like two or three other photos that are slightly similar, but this was the one that stood out the most, basically. But yeah, the social
Yeah,
media part of it was crazy. Too many people like posting my photo over and over and over and over again.
yeah, and I heard like they set pieces for their shows and stuff is just crazy. Like they live setup and stuff. So I already know you had a
Yeah,
blast shooting that.
Yeah, this was a lot different to what they do now, which is like they do like a living room kind of thing. But in this one, this was like giant, huge LED with a big LED box for like whatever album they were touring. Um, but it looked great, and all the visuals like worked out so well. I remember when they first started playing, I was just like, "Oh, this is different." Like this is like the crowd was louder than the artist, which I've never heard before. So it was like all of a sudden I was like, "I can't hear them. Like this is nuts." So
Hmm.
it's pretty crazy. Next one, this was North Lane last year during their regional tour. So they were doing a bunch of like regional shows all around Australia. So they're going to like middle towns in between all the capital cities and just doing like a bunch of shows. This is obviously of Marcus, and I just like the detail that I got around the microphone. It was just great timing that I got it. I try and get these kind of shots where I like want to get a bit of detail of something else, not exactly the person in question, but this one came out pretty well, and I just like the focus directly on that. And I think this is shot at like shoot most of my stuff at like 2.0, so it's not as blurry in the background, but it works. I think I added a bit of like clarity to the microphone just to pull it a bit sharper, but came out sick, I think.
It
No,
is a
yeah,
very sweet shot. I like these two back to back, like very like bright, like yellow goldy, like I like the vibe on it too, because it's like the colors are just sweet. Big fan, yeah.
Yeah, the warmer tones. It did work, yeah, work out pretty well. Um, yeah, next one. This was Alexis on Fire
Oh, this is
earlier in the
sweet.
year. And this was like the coolest photo. I had to post it because it was just like the sickest thing, and I didn't realize. And this was with my, I think it was with my manual or my. Which one was it? Was it my manual? I can't. Don't think I can tell. No, it won't tell me. But yeah, this was sick. This is him just like sitting down right in front of me, and I was just like high speed continuous, just firing, going. I need to get a shot. Need to get a shot because it was just perfect, perfect placement. He was just doing crazy stuff. I think after this photo, the next photo is him like spitting water out and or spitting like any type of liquid out of his mouth, and he's just like going crazy. And I was just like, holy shit, do I get it? And waiting to come back and see the shot was perfect.
that's
The
crazy.
blues look great. Lots of detail on his face, which was sick, and it just stood out straight away. And I was like, I have to post this. And I think I posted this image first, like to Twitter, to be like, this is my favorite shot. Like, this is so sick. I loved it.
Yeah, that
Nah,
is
that's
a
a
very
super
nice
dope
shot.
shot. I like I like one his facial expression, obviously, but just the like framing of everything with the guitar and like his knee and all of that stuff. Like people don't understand how easy it is to quote unquote take pictures, but hard it is to like take photographs. And that's a dope like shot to capture, especially if you were manually focusing this and you still got it like that.
No,
That's
I
ridiculous.
feel like it wasn't a manual focus. I don't think I had the fisheye. Oh, actually, I might have had the fisheye. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I might have had the
Was
fisheye on for this one because I think all the rest of them were all the my fisheye. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I manually focused this one as well, which is very lucky because that one's really really finicky to get because it's like you push it away to infinity and then you just leave it and it's just my distancing. I just have to move the camera, so I just kept moving it forward and backwards to get a shot, hopefully, and luckily I got this one. Next one. This one was probably my favorite, and this is literally the full manual lens and him just looking into the camera. This is in my where I used to live in a place called Frankston, um, but this was at their little hometown venue called Pelly Bar, which is just super small. Um, yeah, that's the barrier. It's so tiny. I was just on the side, and I just like point my camera up. And I've known the guys. This is a band called Alpha Wolf, they've just toured in America with Motionless in White and a bunch of other bands,
Alpha Wolf is
which
so
is fucking
fucking
crazy.
good.
They're
They're
crazy.
so fucking
I've
good.
known them for like a long time. I've known the vocalist for longer because I shot his previous band, and he used to always be at Alpha Wolf shows anyway. So it's funny enough that he became the vocalist, even being there all the time. But yeah, the shot's the full manual 7.5 mil. I think it's 35 mil cropped. So instead of it being like 7.5, it's I can't remember whatever it is times with a crop. Um, and then I just put a bit more emphasis on sharpening and clarifying Lockie, the vocals in the middle, and then putting another filter around to literally blur out or at least like soften all the lights behind so that he's in focus only. And I just thought it was like my favorite shot in the world. Like it's just him looking at the camera screaming. It was just perfect timing, basically.
Is this
Yeah,
your
this is very
arm
good.
over here on the right?
No, no,
That's
not here. No, that's not my arm.
I was about to
It's
say,
not that
damn,
wide.
that 7.5 is wide. I was like, man.
No, no. Actually, I don't think so. I don't think no. I don't think it's me. I might be just the person sitting on the edge, but no, it's not that wide. You would probably see more of my fingers than my whole arm, but no, it's pretty nuts the how wide it gets.
Yeah. And then it's dope too, like with shots like these, you can tell like y'all have some type of, relationship because the way that you're one standing that close to the artist and the artist isn't looking at you like, oh, this fucking dude with his camera. But, actually playing off of you being right there and looking directly into the camera. And I know
Yeah, it's
fucking
it's
once
it's
you got
another
this
it's
shot is
another
just
perk of it's another perk of networking and shooting for so long. It's just like you just happen to have so many friends that just go, oh yeah, they know exactly that. I'm gonna pose for his camera because I know him. Um, yeah, and it was just easy, so easy to work with those guys. Next one, this was Void of Vision. They're touring Europe at the moment, but they're another friends band. They were playing the Fall Tilt Festival with like Northlane in Hearts Wake, and they were on the main stage. And they were playing first, which is crazy because the crowd's huge for like an opener, which is weird. I think they got put on like last minute, but yeah, this was again manual fisheye um, right behind him. So pretty much where the photo ends, that's where my feet were. But I just like saw him getting down and getting closer to the ground. And I was like, I have to run up. So I like ran from behind the drum set, ran straight up to him and was just like firing shots up and around him. So I was kind of going over him in like a crescent shape to get the shot I wanted because I wanted to get the background of the actual tent as far as it could go,
yeah.
which helps with the fisheye. Having it in a vertical stance and getting all of the curvature of the actual tent worked well. And plus, having him right there was so like easy. But yeah, again, manual focus, just spray and pray, and just hope you get the shot.
No, this is a sweet
Mm,
shot. I love that too.
it's just yeah, the intentional like getting the curvature of the tent as well. And again, this is why I be telling people like it's more than just pressing the button when they think we just
Pressing
pressing
button,
the
yep.
button. Like no, and then again, you manually focusing this like a crazy person. It's just like that's this
Yeah,
shot probably he was probably only sitting there for what like a couple seconds.
yeah, I'd probably say for about 5-10 seconds because he was just doing like this huge scream at the end. I was just like, run.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like we really making magic happen. Yeah, that I fucking love
Yeah,
that shot. The first thing I noticed was the tent and stuff. So when you said like you intentionally got the tent, I was like, yeah, I would have did the same.
yeah, it made it better having the crowd, having like how big the crowd was. Because yeah, when they were playing, they were very much like scared because they're like, even though they're a fairly big band in Australia, but they were kind of like, oh shit, we're opening up this festival. I don't think there's going to be like a lot of people. But then by the time they started playing, it was a little bit quiet. But then as they were getting close to the end, the crowd just built so quickly, and they were just like,
Mhm.
yeah, this is sick. Like this is awesome. Um, This one, this is of Josh from Banks Arcade. So they're like a New Zealand band that then moved to Melbourne. This was for a record label showcase that they were playing. They like just signed to a label, so they were opening this show with Thornhill, another cool band that's on the label. But yeah, this was Josh, and this is the first time I met them. So I hadn't even worked with these guys before, and Josh had hit me up seeing that I was shooting the show for another band and said, "Oi, can you come shoot? Like, can you shoot come earlier and shoot our set?" And I was like, "Oh, no worries." And then I barely spoke to him, and they got and he got into this kind of position during one of the songs where he's talking about being a devil or being like a demon, and he did this position like twice. There's another photo of the exact same thing of like, but him in front of the stage. But this was sick, and again, same as like that Apple photo. I just did a lot of clarity around him just to kind of emphasize a little bit more that he's the one in focus. But yeah, it's again manual focus lens, same deal. It's just yeah, pretty intense to try and get it. But yeah, another lucky shot of just manually focusing a lens and getting it right. But it came out sick. I was really, really happy with it.
this is a
Yes.
really good instance of like your colors, but like something about having like fog in the background and you have mastered that shit for real. Like I can tell like that's definitely something that you're about because I've seen a lot of photographers trying to make it so that like it's almost like not a part of it because like I've heard from a couple of people that like they don't love working with it because it can ruin a photo for people. But like I've seen you and then obviously I've seen Chris cuz I don't shoot that many shows, but I've seen y'all doing like playing with the colors and stuff and I don't know, it just blows my mind to like cuz I know like you're not just spending 5 seconds on this picture at all.
No, I
Oh
spent a
yeah.
little bit longer on this one, especially for what he was doing. I wanted to get it right, but yeah, as you can see, like the fog isn't it's not like super overdeveloped, which is great. Sometimes it can be way too much, and then if you add in like strobes and shit, like just the lights get absolutely stuffed around with
Yep.
like fog. But in this instance, like it wasn't too much. There's not a lot of fog at this venue. This is a venue called the Corner Hotel, which is like another it's not a huge venue, but it's a very, very, very popular venue in Melbourne. But they don't do a lot of fog stuff, which is great. But again, they just probably did it to give a little bit more atmosphere as they were like opening. But yeah, came out sick. I was just yeah, and I've been friends with
No, it's
Josh ever
bomb.
since. So it's been sick. Every time we see each other, it's always a hug, just seeing how we're doing and stuff like that. But yeah, he's an animal on stage. So he was just like he does like a lot of like Muay Thai stuff. So he does like lots of like karate and like Muay Thai stuff on stage, like punching and stuff like that. So he does a lot. He's got a lot of energy and having this quick little moment of him like calming down and like walking directly towards me, even though he probably hadn't known me for about 5 minutes, and he was just like
That's
this
crazy.
comfortable just to like shoot whatever. It was like yeah, I love that kind of little relationship we started. So it's sick.
It's good
Oh
energy
yeah.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, this one
Oh my
is
god.
this one's another manual focus like sorry if like half of these ones are manual focus lens, but it's just because they were like my favorites. But this is of my mate's band, Future Static. They're like a proggy metalcore-ish band. But yeah, they were supporting another band called Red Hook, which we'll come into later. But they were opening, and they said like manager usually says to me like, "Hey, the band's gonna do some of this cool stuff. Can you try and capture it?" And I was like, "Sweet, no worries." And as we were like they were warming up backstage, we were just talking, and Amy, who's the vocal, she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try and do like this whip thing." And I was like, "Oh, when are you gonna do it?" She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it towards the end." She didn't say when, so I was just like, "Okay, I'll just if it's there, I'm there. That's cool." But then, luckily enough, yeah, for the last song, it's like this big breakdown. She just does this big, huge, wide kick, which I got the first photo before this is the kick, and then the second photo is just this. And in this instance, I end up getting um the burst, so I shot high continuous of her just kicking, so her just whipping this mic around. So luckily, and I just chose one that looked great, and there was this one. And yeah, it obviously just emphasized the lights, made the lights brighter. Another filter to get more focus on her, but again, yeah, just I was just in love with this photo. And as soon as I took the photo, I went straight to them. I was like, "You need to see this." And they were just like, "Holy fucking shit! Like this is the sickest thing!" And straight away, like that was the first thing they
Yeah.
posted when they got it because they're just like, "Yep, I have to post that one because it's so sick."
And then I love too, cause like I feel like a lot of times this is no shade to anybody, but a lot of times when people use fisheyes, they rely more on the fisheye effect than actually capturing a good photo. But I
Yeah,
feel like you actually are capturing good images and not just using a fisheye for the sake of using a fisheye. Like
Yeah.
yeah. I really try
you
and
can tell that
think.
you were hunting for that.
Yeah, because sometimes, like, I've done that where it's like I'll use it to get some shots, and I'm like, "I need to get the full band, or I need to get the full venue with this, and only the wide will work." And I'll do that, which is just like a safety shot. But then I'll really try and get like interesting angles and get like a particular type of photo that I want. Just because it's a bit harder with the manual focus lens, but getting up close and getting like these cool like high energy shots, like it makes the image like 10 times better. And especially having this like again, I'm
Yeah.
not very far away from her, even though the photo makes it look like it. Like her foot and between her foot and the edge of the frame, like there's less than less than half a meter. Like it's super close, and like I'm leaning over. Like I'm 5'2", and this stage is probably about 6 foot tall, so I'm lifting my hand up and leaning over as much as I can to try and get the shot and stand. I think I was standing on a bit of the staircase as well to just get this photo because I just wanted to get as close as possible without losing focus. But yeah, it was super tricky. But yeah, again, so glad it came out the way it did. It just made my night pretty much.
No,
Yeah, you making me want to grab
definitely
a
sweet.
fisheye.
Do it. They're do it. They're so like there's like the one I bought
Yeah,
is I think like I bought it for $160 on eBay, and I was just like
yeah.
easy. It was just the simplest thing, and it was just I think I only bought it in COVID because I was like I need to do something. Like I haven't shot a show in months. I need to do something. And my girlfriend's like, just buy a lens. I'm like, okay. So I bought a fisheye and
Yeah,
just like fucked around. But again, yeah,
yeah,
they're super fun to use. But again, lots and lots of practice. Like it was really hard to get this perfect. But
Mhm.
um, again, lots of practice.
You've
Uh,
got it looking like you've got it looking more like a portrait lens than anything, which is like
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
to me.
yeah, because usually it's got the because it's so wide in uncrop mode, you can actually see the whole like the actual edges of the lens. So you can see if I pull it out here, you can see these bits
yeah.
and you can actually see it in the actual photo, which isn't bad. Like I don't mind it because I can like it just makes it go, oh yeah, that's a wide lens and that's what it is. And but when I do uncropped like but doing it crop like this, that's how it comes out. But mostly you can see the entire frame around it because it's so wide. But it's just like it's just fun to use. They're so nifty and like yeah, you can get some really interesting stuff and make it look like a portrait, which is cool. It's just having the right angle to make it not look like distorted or like make it look like the person's elongated in a way. It just if you can get in the right angle, it can work pretty well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This one's of Escape the Fate earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So they played their like anniversary tour with Destroy, Rebuild Until God shows, and my friends in the Beautiful Monument. They were opening. Um, I was working for Drugs, doing some stuff for their drummer, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll just stick around and shoot Escape the Fate because I can, and I've got a pass, and I'll just do it." So I just went into the photo pit and did this, and got this shot of their guitarist Maddie, um, just with the lights coming off. The lighting was sick. I usually
Yeah.
hate red. Red's really hard for me to kind of get
Yeah.
Yep.
appealing. But luckily I got it kind of in this way where I'm like, okay, I'm happy with this red. Like it's not too red, but it's not too orange. It's kind of like that nice medium, which I liked. But again, I fucking hate red. Red's like the most annoying one to get. That and green, but red was a little bit harder to get right and make it look like I'm happy with it. I do take a lot of time with red photos because they can just be a bit too tricky to get like appealing that I'll like to share it. But I got this and then again, yeah, emphasize the lights, made the lights brighter in the background, and just all the focus being like directly on like this part of it and having it kind of still blur from here. But yeah, this would have been on my 24 mil, and yeah, again came out great. And I was just like, these are just like they just work so well, and there was so much
Yeah.
energy towards. And as soon as I posted it, Maddie like I posted and tagged them in it, and Maddie was just like immediately followed me, immediately asked for the photos and was like, "Oh, dude, can we share them?" And I was like, "Yes, you can, absolutely." And I just gave him the Dropbox link and said, take them, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, just you don't have to pay me because I don't give a shit. Just do it. And then he would post, like, he posted a bunch of the photos, which was sick. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun just to have that little bit of, um, validation from someone I had never met and just went, oh, these photos are sick. I like them. And it just made my day.
Oh yeah.
That's so awesome. No,
What's
the red is definitely tough, because I know I absolutely struggle with red. Less green, and then yeah, red has been the bane of my existence trying to get that to look like really really good. But there's a couple photos I've taken where I've definitely manipulated it enough to like uh start looking good, but nothing like this yet because it's always like super more up close, so it's more of a play on like shadows.
yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
but you like saving the white in these lights is the craziest part to me right now because I was like sitting here
Yeah.
like, what? How much time did you spend specifically on lights over everything else.
Yeah, not as long, but definitely a bit longer just trying to, like, tweak it. I know I went back to this photo a few times because I edited all the other
Yep.
photos, and then I'd come back to it, edit a few more, come back to it, and I was just like, because I think I was doing it super late at night. I was like, I cannot think straight on how to fix this properly because I didn't want to just,
Yeah.
I didn't want it
Yep.
to go black and white. I was like, that was be like that's my last resort if it's like I really want to save. But I was just like, oh, I want to get the color. Like it just looked really cool, and I think it was like
Mhm.
saturated red. Like it was like almost like your camera, Autumn, like in that kind of saturated red where it's just like
Mhm.
it didn't look good, and I was like, there's too much. I need to like take it a little bit back. But yeah, happy with what I got in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so funny too that you said the black and white thing because I think that's just like something that we all agree on at this point that if you can't save a picture in any other
Black and
way,
white.
black and white will always do it. Little
Black
out
and
of
white and
focus,
Exactly,
all else
black and
fails.
white.
exactly
That
right.
was
Like this,
black
it
and
can work really well.
black black and white was probably the first preset I learned how to make for myself. Like when I first started doing photography, because I was trash at like color grading and like editing
Yeah, same.
photos and stuff. So like I'm still learning. I tell people I'm still learning. Even though I get some good colors, I'm still learning to manipulate those colors. But when I first started, I was like, yeah, these lighting is trash, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I just made me a unique enough looking black and white preset, so it's not just straight black and white, but it
Yeah.
was different enough. So I was like, at least it's not basic black and white. But yeah, I try to make myself not use black and white, but I mean it never fails. It always looks good.
No, yeah, it's just that little bit of a save where I'm like, I'll just do it if I really need to. I usually do it for most of my sets anyway. Like I'll just pick a few where I'm like, I like these, but I'll just put in black and white because sometimes it just makes it a little bit better in black and white. Or I'll just be like, oh, I just want to have like a bit of consistency between them and have color versions and then have some black and whites that they can post because some bands like having black and whites on their feed anyway. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I'll just do it and have it there. Yeah, yeah, it's sick, and I'm glad I didn't have to go black and white for this one because it was
No,
so close.
definitely glad that you didn't either, because this is honestly, this might be my favorite next to the one previous on the
Yeah.
set. Oh, Polyphia.
Yeah, so Polyphia came this year. Shout out to my friend Alana who works for Polyphia, and I just randomly tweeted and said, "Ah, who can I who can I pray to shoot Polyphia?" And she was like, "Hey, do you want to pass? Done." I was like, "Oh, thank you." I didn't even ask for it. Didn't even care if I was going to get one. Man, yeah, she gave me a pass. So I went and shot Polyphia for the night, which is sick. I'd shot Polyphia once before. They were touring here with Intervals, and it was yeah, cool show. I think they switched up where it's like Intervals were support and Polyphia was main, and then they switched show to show. But yeah, in this case, it was obviously their big headliner at a place called the Northcote Theatre, which is a brand new venue that I'd never been to. So I was a bit new to kind of getting the lighting and figuring out how to shoot this place because it was basically a brand new venue. But again, yeah, this was sick. This was probably on my 50 mil. I got a really just like clean shot of just him and having that light. I strategically pushed myself across to get the light behind him and have that bit of
Mm,
shine come through his neck, and come
yeah.
almost kind of blinded here because obviously it cuts off the bit of his neck anyway, and having it almost like shine all the way across. I wish it was a bit more directional, but again, I can't control everything. But I digged it, and it was a lot more saturated purple. But luckily, I could kind of save a little bit of this side of his head a little bit more, and kind of took a bit of the more like yellow orange into there and got it, which was good. And there's a bit of it still kind of remaining down here, but I got it kind of into a safer space. I think I desaturated just like a tiny bit just to get that color skin right and not be too crazy. But it worked well.
Yeah.
It worked well. I was, yeah, super happy with everything that came out on this one. Again, it was only 3 songs, so I had to really rush. So I couldn't stick around long to get shots that I needed, but, yeah, it was a really small, photo pit, lots of people. Um, he was on one, like, riser for, like, the entire set, so it's like I had to kind of make up shots around him because he didn't quite move around as much as the other band members did, so it was a bit trickier to get shots different instead of having it be the same shot of him on the Ariza for 20 shots.
Mm,
So
yeah,
yeah, having to get a little bit closer.
he like the main attraction at that point too. Like he
Yeah,
fucking
basically.
is
He
a
riffs
is
the
a
entire time,
god.
so he's literally God on guitar. But yeah, it was a bit
Yep.
crazy on that one. But I was yeah again super happy just to get this kind of shot well. But yeah, it worked out pretty interesting.
It's definitely a winner, and it's definitely like a special shot too. I like it a
Yeah,
lot. That's sweet.
Yeah, I was super happy that I got
yeah.
it, which was great.
See,
Um,
purple is the bane of my existence. Y'all say red, purple is
I've loved
mine.
purple now.
I hate
I dig purple now.
I,
I'm good with it. I'm
I hate
happy.
purple with a passion. I hate it with a passion. It's so hard for me. Like the way that you edited this is good because like you said, the skin tones, you still brought some of the skin tones back. So you can tell that it was intentional of you editing it, and then also you got it behind his head, so the way that it was shining. So that's a good purple shot. But I just hate when it's just like straight from the front, just purple, and it just
Oh yeah,
looks,
and
it's
it's
just
hard
like
and
hot
it's
spots on the skin and stuff. It just
mhm.
looks crazy to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's not fun, not fun at all. And this last one is of Red Hook. This is Alex the drummer. This was at um, the
It's
Pier Band Room in
crazy.
Frankston. So this was during a Unify, are a big Australian label here, and they do it. They used to do a festival every year, and in this instance, they couldn't do the festival because they just chose not to. So they decided to do an on their own festival. So they did like a mini fest at a bunch of capital cities, and Red Hook was on one of them. They're from Sydney. They're like a sick like punk rock band. Like they're amazing. Like they're such a good band. They got a great album. So and I've been friends with them for a little bit, just because my mate Ned plays bass for them, and it just happened to work out that networking is great. I can't emphasize how good networking is because he was just like, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to come shoot?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Like even in this shop, like they were headlining, and he hit me up and said, "Hey, do you want to come shoot us? We need this." I'm like, "Yep, sweet, coming. I'll already be there. I'll shoot you guys." And in this case, it was I was working for the venue while they were playing. I didn't get to shoot everyone, but Red Hook was a must because of how much they hit. So I ended up doing this, and I think I did a recap for them as well, but it was sick. Alex is a super energetic drummer, and he loves playing to the camera. Like whenever I'm there,
yeah,
he knows, and so he'll turn and smile and poke his tongue out and point to the camera and do all these things. Like he's super into the camera being on him, which is great. Um, but yeah, this was another. This wasn't a fisheye, but this was the 12 mil Sam Yang that I've got. So that's why that you can see all the edges of the lens.
yeah,
But yeah, I got up really close and then just like shot. I think I got like two photos. One's without these lights kind of hit in the background. The only reason I chose this one is because the lights actually hit and like they almost like hit the drum, reflect off the drum, bounce off his
yeah.
head, bounce off some of the other parts of the scene. I was like, yeah, it's great. And then obviously they got a big huge LED in the back, which helps with a bit more light. But yeah, I just love the facial expression, the energy. Like he's just yeah, super photogenic to take photos of.
I was about to say, yeah, I know his drumstick probably was like right next to your lens with that 12 millimeter you
Yeah,
had.
it's fairly close. There's the symbol. Like I'm just standing over it basically. So I'm not super close, but I'm close enough that he could poke the lens basically.
Yep.
Yeah,
I like how the lights are both um hitting the snare right there. That's
yeah,
just so cool. But I
Yeah, that
think
timing was great.
the fisheye kind of added some flavor to this, like the little markings that you can see for like the outside to keep
Yeah.
the glass element from hitting. I think they like helped your photo more than hurt your photo.
Yeah, at first I was like when I
yeah.
first got it and it had that kind of effect, I didn't even care. Like I didn't care that it was in the photo. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, but they don't want like hoods and things in the shot. But I was just like, I like that. It kind of just like emphasizes that little bit of focus into the image, a little
Hmm.
bit more. But yeah, I like how that works. Like it's not a big hindrance to me. But yeah, I thought it worked really well.
Oh
Definitely,
yeah.
yeah.
See,
Yeah,
look.
there would have been a lot more favorites, but I can't I can't post them all. But there's quite a few
Yeah.
that I dig a lot more. But I'm just like, oh,
See
I need to
now,
choose a good couple ones for you.
now I'm gonna make you dig up a recap. Now I'm gonna
Yeah,
make you dig
do
up
you
a
want me to?
recap. You talking about that?
I can do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Let's look at some of
Here,
that video work
let's
too.
let me do that for you really quick because I can do that really fast.
I'm loving this, by the way. I really like the shots that you get. You do some cool work, man. Just
Thank
Yeah,
you. You'd
and
think doing it after 9 years, you'd have something to show.
yeah. Well, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Some people don't, but no judgment. But yeah, you can tell like you actually hunting for these shots that you get, and you're not just hitting the button and just like, all right, hopefully I come up with something. Like you say, you get your
Yeah,
safety
exactly
shots,
right.
of course. Like you get your shots where it's like, all right, I got the fisheye, let me get the band and the venue, and then people like, all right, cool, that's a nice, decent, normal shot. But
Yeah, I do
then you
quite a
like,
lot
all
of
right,
safeties.
yeah. But then it's like, all right, now let me get creative. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things when it comes to especially concerts or honestly any type of shoot. You get your standard shots, your like safety shots that it's like, okay, I got that out the way. Now let's do something different. Now let's get crazy.
Yeah,
And
it
those
could
tend to
work
be the
so
best
well.
shots.
Let me see if I've got.
Yeah.
I do actually have Red Hook's video from that show, so I might. Oh, let me just. Jesus Christ, that's gonna be loud, isn't it? Let me just turn myself down so I can. Let's just see if this will work. I don't know if it's gonna work properly, but let's have a look. There, that work. I don't know whether audio will work, so we'll see. I don't know how loud it's gonna be, but yeah. If you want to see my organizational purposes, this is crazy.
Uh,
Um,
yeah. I wish I
let's
was that
just see.
organized.
Yeah, this is when you have lots of OCD and you want to make everything look right. How can you see that at all?
the
About to say
video?
you probably have
Yeah.
to
No, you can't see it. Okay.
not
Um,
you gotta so you gotta hit the share button or whatever for like the screen, and then you have to pick I think like the application, so probably like QuickTime or something.
yeah, let's see if it'll do it. We'll see if it does it. Does that come up on your screen? No.
No.
How would I do this? I'm just going to see if it'll let me share a different piece.
Or I was about to say if you got it in a if you got it in a call it like a Dropbox
Actually, let's
link,
try
you can shoot
this.
me the Dropbox links and I could pull it up.
Let me see if this works. There we go.
Yep,
Okay.
you got it.
Oh
There
yeah.
we go. All right. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Oh, cool. That's all right. I can make it small on my screen. Yeah, so this is from that. Let's just make sure that I don't know if the audio works. Let me know if you can hear this.
No.
No, cool.
No, but it's all
I
good.
think
I'm a definitely add that in later though. You send me this video and I'll add it in with the
Yeah, that's
audio.
cool. But yeah, basically, yeah, it's them playing at this festival from that last photo. But yeah, they're sick. Like they're an awesome band. But this is of 30-minute set, so it's pretty intense. So I had to kind of run around a lot. They're very energetic, so they do a lot of running around the stage and they do all these things. But again, there's bits of the manual lens. There's bits of the 24, mostly 24, and then bits of like 50 and the 12 mil and all that jazz. And then there's these like splicing of photos that I took as well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're very energetic. See if I can get a spot. Yeah, so there's stuff like that, which is just uh, it's just of a photo that I took, and then I just did a little like edit to kind of add a little splice to it. But there's parts like that where it comes up as
Yeah,
a
that's so
photo, and
dope.
it's yeah. But yeah, that's basically what I do in a 30-minute set. If I'm lucky, I'll um I'll muck that around a little bit. But yeah, it can look kind of cool. But yeah, they play to the camera. They do a lot of things. They have outfits. So they get changed like halfway in for certain songs, but they get dressed up. They play as like um escape mental escape people. They dress up as doctors. They put on like bloody clothes and all that jazz. Like they're intense.
That's
But yeah,
crazy.
this is my way of trying to get like a lot of their stuff. And then you can see like the flare stuff here. That's lens
Mm.
filters. So that was like a bunch of lens filters to kind of get that flare look going. Um, yeah, it's sick. Like I love doing videos when the bands are like this, and this venue's massive. So like it really helped to them because they play a song last every single set, and it's the song they're most popular for because it's a hey, let's get everyone on stage and let's like
Yeah.
dance around and just like it's a big sing along song. But yeah, it's sick. I love it. But yeah, I'll send you that and you can pop that in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, nah, that's dope. I think I don't know if it was that exact video that I saw, but I definitely seen the one I was gonna ask you about that because the way you like you splice in like the photos and stuff like that, like throughout the
Yeah,
video, like I love that so much. That's super dope. Especially when you're
yeah. I
doing
don't
it
do it
like super
too.
fast with the energy and the stuff.
Yeah, it works pretty well in some instances. I don't do it too often, but it works well. And I was like, as soon as I did it once, I was like, oh, I got to do this again because that just like elevated it like a little bit more and a little bit more. I was like, oh, that kind of works, and because people will go back and watch it and try and see what that was because it goes by so quick, so people naturally will stop and have a look. But no, I yeah,
Yeah.
it's sick. I'll make sure to I'll just get that sent over to you anyway, and you can use it however you wish.
Hell yeah.
That
No,
was a sweet
definitely.
video.
We're gonna post it.
But
We're
yeah,
gonna
do a
post
bunch of
it up.
that,
We're
a
gonna
bunch of those things,
we
and then I do music
we
videos
gonna
and other shit like that.
I'm about to say, yeah, we gonna post up the link, the Dropbox link with like the photos, and maybe you want to throw that video in there so people can
Yeah,
see
I'll
it
chuck that
too.
in there for you.
Um, and then yeah, we gonna get those links so people can see how dope these shots are. I think they should see it in full res, but especially like that video portion, like that was dope.
Yeah, the video looks
Just
way better in full res.
um, what was I gonna say? So this is at the point now. Y'all ready to talk some shit?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
want to do you want to do some hot
I
takes?
want to- yeah, we got Autumn. We got the list. I don't know these hot takes yet, so we go. So I might just be
Going
going
in
off
blind.
just so y'all know.
So I've collected. So right now I pulled up four of my favorites of those because some of them were a little whack, and then I pulled up a fifth of another photographer that I like, where it wasn't even a hot take. It was just a insane thing to say to that I wanted to ask you guys about because I was curious because I was thinking about it myself.
Mhm.
Um, when you've looked at your camera and you've looked at your camera roll specifically, have you guys like looked at how many shots you've taken at all at any period?
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh, so there's this tweet that this girl Tess posted, and she said my camera made it to 469,085 shots before the shutter gave out. Holy shit, lol. And I'm just
Yeah.
thinking that is so many photos. And then I asked her, I was like, how long did you have it for? And she said 5 years. And I'm like, dang, 469,000 pictures in 5 years is just she let that high continuous really go.
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say that's where my brain immediately went because I started using the high continuous, and that's 10 shots a second. So if you think about if it goes for 10 seconds, it's a lot of photos. And I remember doing it the first time, and I went, "Oh shit, this is gonna break my camera." Like at some point, my
Yep.
camera is just going to fault, and I've had it happen 3 times where my shutters like stuffed up, and I've gone, "Uh oh, is this the end? Is this the end of
Oh,
it?"
yeah.
when you're
You just
on
know
that
your heart just
buffer,
start
yeah.
beating.
It wasn't a buffer. It was like
Oh,
it went click, 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 and then stopped halfway. Like the actual shutter like stopped and didn't
Oh,
clip all the way down. And I was like, it literally
oh,
jammed. And I was like, oh no, this is it. And this was in the middle of a
ooh,
set. And I was like, trying not to look panicked. So I just went to the back room and just like pushed it and it flipped back down. I was like, I fixed it. I think I fixed it.
I would have had a heart
Oh,
attack. My shutter would have just stopped in the middle of the set. I'm just
Yeah,
like, yep.
yeah, that's what it felt like. That's
Like,
definitely what it felt like.
wowie. Yeah, thank goodness for mirrorless now. We're all shooting mirrorless now, so thank goodness for
yeah,
that.
Yeah, fingers crossed,
Um,
knock on wood, nothing happens.
but that was just something I was
yeah.
curious about because I thought that was interesting. I looked at mine recently, and my current camera is only at like 8,000 or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I've calmed myself down on the high continuous, and I've started like
I'd be so
manually
scared to look
hitting
at
it.
mine now. I haven't checked mine in a good, like, 2 years. I haven't looked at it, so I have no idea what it's probably really bad. It's probably over the regular amount it should have done. It's
Oh
definitely gonna
boy.
be
Yeah,
over.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know how to check my how many shutter like captures I have. Like, I'm sure if I check my D5500, I probably have a ridiculous amount of shutter count on there. And for that little camera, I'm surprised it made it as long as it did. So yeah,
I think
shout out
last
to
time I
Nikon
checked,
though.
mine was on 140,000, and I only bought the camera in
Oh,
2019. Um,
holy.
so I remember, I don't know when I checked that, but I remember that number, and I was like, "Oh, yeah," and I went and checked the usable date of, like, how long it should last, and it says, I think it's, like, 250,000 or something like that, so I was like, "Oh, I'm getting pretty close."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wowie.
they only I think they only guarantee it up to that too. So it's like anything past that you just working on like borrowed time
Yeah,
pretty
you're just
much.
spraying and praying, you're just hoping nothing breaks.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'll
Um,
find out and I'll tweet you afterwards what it is, and we'll have a laugh about that.
Oh
okay,
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah, we definitely
Alrighty.
I'm gonna have to look mines up too so we could just post them and just talk shit about each other.
We can get a thread started of having people post their shutter counts. I think that'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be
Oh
so
Just to
yeah.
funny.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to
It has to
see.
be date of when you started with the camera and then what the shutter count is now, and just send
Oh
the rules.
shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to
Oh,
put the date when you bought it. That'd be so funny.
Oh yeah.
okay, yeah. I'll have to go look at that because I think mine is like sometime in March of. My current camera right now is March of 2021.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's
Yeah,
is
2021.
my mine's I think was like July or June or July 2020. I remember getting my
Okay.
camera. But my newest
Yeah.
one. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get my old camera, see what that is, and then see what the new camera is, see how far I'm off. I know it's crazy.
Oh boy. I look forward to that for sure. That'll be fun to see if we can get other people to participate in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll
Like
do
I
that later
said,
today. I'll find out.
that was just like a funny tweet that I saw because I was like, God damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, for 5 years too. But she's a concert photographer, so like that's bound to be the case.
It
But
seems normal.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Alrighty. So we're gonna start with this one because I think this one is fun and we can kind of branch off into other stuff because you use Lightroom and everything
Yep.
like that. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Perfect. So this first one said hot take. I hate the use of AI auto filters and touch ups on photos, specifically on the new Pixel, and its face editing features, which I don't know if you guys have heard about that yet, but I just
Yeah.
watched uh, what is it, a Mark Brown Lee video uh,
yeah,
semi recently, but then said it takes away from the whole reason I photograph things to capture the moment and preserve it. And I think I got another one that built on that one. No, I didn't say that one. Okay. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys have watched that video or heard anything, but so this Pixel 8, what it can do is it can take a picture and then it can auto blur the background, blow the background out. And then on top of that, it can do all face tuning things. And I'm pretty sure it can do eye stuff and skin tone correction all while just taking the picture immediately. And
Jesus.
so my whole thing on that was like I get it because I also can't stand like the whole AI thing, but I can't stand the AI photo generated, but I use the AI tools in Lightroom all the time. Like they have become
yeah,
a part of my workflow because they make life insanely easier. And so I was just curious what you guys thought about that one.
Jeez.
Uh,
I don't use any AI stuff. Like I tried the AI noise stuff in Lightroom, and I didn't quite like it. I was just like, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm indifferent because I haven't found an instance where I need to try it. I know, Chris, you tried it with your super high ISO that I saw the other day, which like
Yep,
yeah,
that's
made
exactly what it's for.
my skin crawl
yeah.
because I've never gone that high in my life, and it scared me to think that people still do that. Um, but no, I've never done it, and I don't think I will because I yeah, again, it's not like I'm like, oh, it's destroying the photo. It's just I just don't have a use for it. I don't feel I'm
That's
in a
fair.
complete place that I don't need to go to that point and use it. I've never shot at ISOs too high where everything's grainy. Um, I've just never needed it. I just don't think I ever will at this stage.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
See, yeah, yeah, it's one of those with the AI denoiser, like, because I'll do like the luminance a little bit, and I'm not afraid of a little grain. See, I'll jump up my ISO like now I'm a crazy person, so I'm always looking at ways to like challenge myself and stuff. So I'm just like, all right, let me shoot this concert at f4, and I'm gonna crank up the ISO to 1600 or 16,000 or 20,000. Let me just see what I can get. Whatever. Let me see, are the images still usable or not? And they are, and some of them do look crazy. Like if it's no light, it's no light, no matter what your ISO is at. So don't even try to fix that. But if it's like decently lit, you can still just, it could be a brightly lit stage, and I can put my ISO at 10,000 and just crank up my shutter speed to 1/8,000th of a second or something like that, just to make sure I can freeze the motion, or if it's something super fast moving or whatever. Like, I know it's overkill. I don't have to do that, but it's like, why not if I got the equipment to do it? Because on my old camera, I can only go up to like, I would max it out at like 3200 ISO. If I put it
Yeah,
on 4000 ISO, that was me like pushing it. And
Yep.
now I'm just like, I'm gonna just do it because I can. So,
Yep.
that's
um,
fair.
yeah, I feel like with the
Yeah.
with the AI tools though, like it's cool for the average consumer because one, when they take the picture, they just want a good looking picture. Like me, even being a person that use like iPhone and like Android, when it's just like straight out the box, open the camera app, snap a picture, iPhones just, they just do it. They have that good processing stuff. But if you got those AI tools, it's gonna fix your skin tones and the lighting and blur the background and make it like a nice portrait. Go for it. As long as it lets you have both of those shots. It should let you have the original shot and have the one that is fixed using the AI. So that way, if you
Yeah,
want to just post the
Mhm.
original shot, but yeah,
Because that's what
AI,
Lightroom does that.
yeah. So like, yeah, that AI, yeah, Andrew, just try that AI. I think people crank it too high when they do it. I think that's what it is. Because when I
they go
do
to
the
those
denoiser,
unreal levels where it's like you'd never go this high.
yeah, no, like I don't. I do like when I use the AI denoiser. I think the highest I've ever went on that was like 35% or like 40% or something like that. Like sometimes I'll only do it to like 15% or 20%. And it's just like usually what I'll put my luminance to or whatever. Like I'll
Mhm.
probably only do my luminance to like 20 or 25. But it's just that with the AI, it's going in individually in the picture and like cleaning up all of it instead of it just doing like the whole like blanket like picture and stuff like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So that's the only reason why
that's
I
fair.
like the AI. But yeah,
Okay. See, I
I'm a
I like to
user.
play with it a lot, so I've pushed it all the way just to see. But on those pictures, I also shot those at 25,600, and I did shoot one at 51,000.
Oh, that hurts. That
Just
hurts to hear.
just because I,
Yo,
I I had to know, like I was curious,
yeah,
and I was shooting at a super high shutter speed. I think it was super super low light, and I was shooting at like 360 or something like that, like 1/360th of a second. So I was like, okay, the light out here is trash and I want to see what I could do. I made it happen. It was all like 65%. I did a couple at 100 just to be like silly. But yeah, usually I sit around like 30-35% because
That's where you
I
can kind of tell
personally
it's not as noticeable.
Yeah,
that and I also like a little bit of noise in my pictures, sometimes. I think it adds to the character and all that, yeah.
yeah,
That's fair. That's fair. Might have to give it a go one day.
yeah. Just
It's
try it. Do put it on like 20%. Just put on like
it's
20% and just look at it. And you'll be like, okay, I get it. That's really it.
It'll be like,
I'll be
okay,
honest,
okay, Chris, maybe do it. Yeah, no worries.
it's for those moments where you're shooting at those f-stops where you're, like, basically lower than 4, like, between, like, 4 to, like, I don't know, say, like, 8. I don't know why you're using 8 realistically,
At a
but
concert, yeah, that's crazy.
yeah, at a concert, that's crazy. You're fighting for your life at that point. Because I know when I
Yeah,
shoot
Yeah,
concerts, I'm shooting at, like, between 1.8 and 2.8, like,
yeah,
otherwise I'm
that's it.
suffering. Yeah, um, but okay, okay. We've got, this next one that says, not knowing everything about photography makes you a better photographer," and I think for personally, I think for a lot of people who don't use all like the technical rules, I think those people tend to get more interesting shots. But I think knowing as much as you possibly can definitely does. So I can see both sides, but that is definitely a hot take if I've heard one.
Yeah,
mm,
that's a tricky one because yeah, like I remember being told um, all these different techniques and the way to do things, the way that I should be doing things. Like I did like a photo um, course, and like I learned all these different techniques and all these like rule of thirds and all these things, and I was like, yeah, no worries. And then when I started shooting, I would keep to that for a while. I kept doing like a lot of like the safety stuff, but then you just realize like you can't get the shots that you want to get without pushing the boundary a little bit. Um, I'm probably one that like I like having the knowledge and I like knowing what I can and can't do, or at least knowing what people are doing. But yeah, I kind of wish I didn't know certain things because I feel like they got ingrained in my head that I had to be that way, and I wasn't going to
yeah,
be expanding and getting better in a certain distance. Like I was kind of like almost like limiting myself a little bit. That's kind of like where like the gear stuff comes into effect as well. It's like the gear matters, gear doesn't matter, and it's like all of a sudden I'm thinking like, oh well, the best people in the world are doing this. Like all these people who are photographing Taylor Swift and all and Harry Styles, like they're shooting it this way because they're following the rules. Where it's like you don't need to know everything. You can just know the bare essentials and be like, I know how to do my ISO, I know how to do my aperture, just practice and then see how it looks. Like
yeah,
that's how it should be done. But again, you'll have everyone with their own takes of how you should be shooting certain shows and how you should be getting these angles and everything. But again, it's just it's a bit mixed.
yeah.
Mm,
Like, I definitely want to eventually get somebody on here that went to like proper schooling because I didn't go to proper schooling, and
nope.
I feel like I get it when it comes to like those corporate like shoots or like things that like we don't even realize that we're just used to seeing. Like we're used to seeing certain shots, or we're used to seeing like those commercialized like shots. Like if you walk in a hospital and you seeing like Brandon or like little info boards on the hospital and you see those photos, like we're used to seeing those like stock images like that. Those That's kind of what I think of when I'm like somebody went to school for this, or like photojournalism. Like you get those
Yeah,
shots that are like set up perfectly, which when they work, they work. But I feel like when you get more into the creative side of things, especially with like music and stuff like that, it's just like, nah, you need something different. Like you want different poses, you want different looks, different like techniques, and trying to just use anything that you can to get the shot. And um like I said, before I learned how to really edit like that, before I had the gear like everybody else, my biggest thing was I was like, people might have better gear, they may be able to edit better than me, but they're not going to take better shots than me. So I just practice on my composition and getting good shots and capturing those moments, capturing the energy. And I feel like that made me a better photographer now because it's like I've always stuck with that. So people that love my shots, they like, oh man, you always get these great shots. I've been trying to do that since I started. So I'm glad that now I know how to edit. But before that, it was just like there's nothing technical. I just want to get dope shots that make people jealous, and that's just how I did it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to just kind of branch out and kind of not have to be safe. You just want to be able to go, I can do whatever the hell I want because it's the way I want to do it. Like I remember being
Yeah,
told I had to buy a 24-70. Like you have to buy a 24-70 because that's the way you shoot uh, everything. And I was just like, "Mm, but I don't want to do that. I've got primes. I'm good. Like I'm set. Like people, I've had people tell me how I should be shooting before, but it's like I've never listened.
Yeah,
yeah,
as you should.
yeah,
um I like breaking the rules personally. Sometimes I purposely will go out of the way to break the rules because I think it just makes for a more interesting photo.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
oh yeah.
so this
I
next
definitely
one,
break the rule on video too, just
oh
so y'all
sorry,
know. I don't no, I was just saying like you know how I record my videos, Autumn. So you know I break the rules. I don't do anything like I'm supposed to do it. But it turns
yeah.
out good,
Oh,
so that's all that matters.
I've been trust me, I do the same thing, and my friend is like, "Your videos are so weird, but like, I see where you're going, and so like that's fine." So I
Yeah.
get it, yeah. Um, So this next one, I'm just gonna hard disagree with the entire time, but that's because it says photography is one of the easiest mediums to of art to delve into, which contributes to its popularity. A nice photo can be captured just by pressing a button, but it's the photographers with the unique style, knowledge of editing, and a keen eye that elevate the medium. So that's kind of what Chris was saying earlier, but the only reason I disagree with this specific take is because realistically, you can go out to the store and you can buy art supplies. It's not like you got to spend $1 million for it. You know, you can go and buy an easel, you can go and buy like a big board, you can go and buy paint and like pencils and pens and all that stuff, you know. Uh I think granted, yeah, you have your phone on you, but like I think any piece of art at this point in current day is easy, especially with things like YouTube and uh, TikTok and Reels and Shorts and all that stuff. Um, but I do still think I think that people can still take a nice enough photo, but that is the part where I do agree where like I think like we've spent time like honing our skill, but that goes for anything, you know, like that's for all trades, all jobs, like you spend a lot of time like doing that and anybody can I think we're in a place where everything is super accessible at this point and it's about how much time you want to put into it and everything like that. That's just my
Yeah. Yeah, and I
reasoning.
definitely agree there. It's like there is so much um there is so much value online that you can just read through. Yes, you can just like read through it and practice. But again, it's like some people will have that keen eye at first and some will take a little bit longer to get to that point. But everyone has the capacity to be great at something. It's just whether you have the ambition to drive and go and do it and get it done. Again,
Hmm.
I look back at my photos and I was always like, I was super confident when I was starting out. But I look back, my photos were shit. Like, that was shocking. And I was just like, what am I thinking? Like, how was I even good? And then it's just like, yeah, you look back and you're like, okay, well, years later, I'm actually like, I know what the fuck I'm doing now, and people know what the hell I'm doing. Um, and like I have people go up and like, oh, you like I even at my new job, I told people that I'd done photos and then I showed them and they're just like, oh, you actually know what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. Like I didn't read or watch any YouTube tutorials when I was starting out. Like I just didn't do that. I just tried and tried and tried and practiced and learnt my own way, and it gets you there in the end. But yeah, again, some people are going to take a little bit longer to get that point, but the resources are all there. Like people have the opportunity to do it. It's just it's not as easy as just buying a camera, pressing a button, and then just going with it. It's like there's a lot of learning that you need to have. But again, some people learn it quick, some people learn it super slow, basically.
Yeah, and it's funny because it reminded me of this Jay-Z quote, and if I can pull it up to throw it in here, I will. But he made a point, and he was like, every human is born with like a genius level talent. You just have to find out what your talent is and tap into it. So I feel like, yes, anybody can pick up a camera, but like we talked about before, you have those people that started it because they like, oh, it's easy. I can make these images. I can pick up the camera and do that, and then they realize real fast, like, okay, now I have to have myself like stand out for the rest of the people, and now I have to actually push myself and learn different techniques and try to make myself diverse. And they don't really have the drive or the passion to really go behind it like that. So that's why a lot of people fall off after a couple, a little while. That's why you can go on Facebook Marketplace and type in entry level cameras and see so many cameras, so many lenses out there for sale because people buy into it and they realize real fast that, nah, this ain't really for me. So yeah, anybody can pick up a camera, but really having that passion and having that eye for it and like that discipline to really go forward with it it's a lot. So I
Yeah,
feel like with
absolutely.
anything, that's what anything. So it's just kind of like some people are made for it. You can tell the people that are made for it. And then some people just aren't. And it's nothing wrong with that. You just gotta find your niche, like what you're good at.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yep, exactly. No, I totally agree. Um, and then our last one would have to be music photography hot take. So I'm gonna let you guys cover this one entirely to start. But it says you don't have to correct out all colors. The light isn't neutral and should maybe slash possibly slash probably continue to be as such. Um, so I was just curious what you guys thought about that one.
That's within reason. I think that depends on shot to shot, band to band, venue to venue. Some colors you can make look good, but if you've got a color that's washed in one color and you go to post that, sometimes you can. I've done that with like blue. Sometimes I can make a blue look really nice. Um, but other times I'm just like, no, I need to correct that color. Like it looks shit. Like sometimes it just doesn't look great. Um, again, it's your prerogative whether you think it looks good. Other people, again, it's just opinions. I'm not going to stop someone
yeah.
from putting out a photo that's going to be washed in magenta and they didn't correct it. I would have just been like, oh, cool, that's a cool photo. I probably would have corrected the thing, but I'm not going to tell them to do it because it's just they obviously did it in that way because they wanted to.
No, I will shame people if you do purple. No, no, no. I just man, I literally I don't know. Like I feel like colors are meant to be manipulated and messed with, and it just kind of just whatever you see it as. Like sometimes I might see a shot as purple, sometimes I might see the shot as red or blue or whatever. Like it just kind of all depends on what you feeling. So I don't feel like you should put yourself in a box when it comes to like the what is it, color
Like
correction,
you have to work with what
color
you got.
manipulation. Yeah, like you just gotta like do what you like and whatever that is, like it's art at the end of the day. So manipulate those colors, go in, change some stuff around and be like, you know what, I want to have it like this or I want to have it like that. And just do what you want to do. Um, because yeah, no, I'm not gonna keep my images purple. I just have a hate towards purple, so that's why I keep talking shit.
We see how it
Yeah,
is.
uh, yeah, I'm like yeah, that just yeah. I'm like, this just made me want to pull up this shot. Hold on, I gotta pull up a shot because I know I posted it on I know I posted it on Twitter, like the before and after, like the purple, but like I just be telling people all the time, like purple is gonna be the death of me. And some people love it, some people hate it. I'm one of those people that is a purple hater. So I will always talk shit. Um, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Oh yeah. So Y'all can see that.
Yeah,
So you
Yep.
see this shot, how it looks. Also, this is before the AI denoiser. This is after the AI denoiser. And but this shot, too much magenta, too much purple.
yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah,
And
you
immediately,
can
like even though
play
it's
on
like
it.
you could press like that, and I'd be like, "Yep, that's you." But in my brain, I'm just like, "Oh, change it, just get rid of it a little bit."
Yeah, like manipulate it just a little bit. Like just try to get it a little bit different. And it's like I said, it's been those times where like even something like this, like changing it to something like this, like you still playing on the purple a little bit, but it doesn't look as harsh as like the magenta.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
but I don't want to keep the shots neutral. I wanna play around with the shots. I want it to look crazy. I want to see how much I can change the shot. I want to see whatever I can do, like whatever looks best for me. And that's what I do. So it's just, yeah, people have their takes on, you know, um how they want their shots to look, or oh yeah, I want to keep my shots as natural as possible, which
Yeah,
whatever. I don't do a lot of Photoshop, but when it comes to color manipulation and color grading, best believe I'm gonna change those shots and I'm gonna change that color however I see fit.
Hmm.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. No, see, so what was funny is this one guy commented under it and goes, "Facts, just black and white it." And the first things on the top of his Twitter are all black and white photos, and that just had me rolling. And
Bro, when
hey,
in
he
doubt,
shoots
just black
good
it
stuff
out.
though, but hey, if you don't think you could save it, just click that black and white and you're good.
Hey, you good. You golden.
Uh, just some funny tweets though. You know, not
Yeah.
quite the normal shit talking that we usually do because there is normally there's someone saying something insane online that we have to comment on. But
Yeah, it's been a lot of other stuff going on in the world, so nobody's been talking too much shit, thankfully.
No, exactly
Uh
right.
yeah.
but yeah, but when people get back to talking shit, I'm gonna be here ready to dunk on them as
You'll
many
jump on it.
times as possible. Yeah.
No,
Like
literally
like
though.
like whoever this person is that tells me that I have to keep my shots neutral and not change that purple.
You're
Like,
gonna find
yeah,
them.
those fighting words. Like I'm gonna be like Liam Neeson. Like I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna get you.
Holy moly.
Oh man, but yeah. So Andrew, tell the people where to follow you at.
Um, Basically, well, I'm Andy Brum on every social. So there's nothing different. So it's ANDYBROMM. Um, I've kept that handle for a while, so I don't plan on changing it anytime soon. But that'll be it. But that's me on Twitter, Instagram. Obviously got a photography page on Facebook, and I've got one on just a website, which is just andrewbromleyphotography.com. And that's it. Yeah, that's all my socials basically. Pretty easy.
Yeah, and also you can book him if you are in the Melbourne. How you say
Melbourne,
it?
Melvin.
Melbourne. Melbourne,
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Yeah,
If you're in the Melbourne area, in Australia, you can book him. He is always out there. You just catch him riding the kangaroo to the show, and
yeah. Just I'll be
yeah, it's
around.
lit. No, but yeah, no, it was good chatting with you today, though. I'm glad we finally got to sit down and get to chop it up a little bit. I know
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
we've been wanting
More
to
than happy to
we've
do
been
it
wanting to
again.
talk and yeah, we've been wanting to talk shit and just hang for a minute. So it's good to just hang with the homie and see some of your stuff because I really do like enjoy your work and
Thank you.
obviously like cool
Likewise.
people. So it's like it's good to have good people with good energy that do good work around, and it's just like it helps with the community. And I feel like that's the biggest thing we want to do with this platform is like build community and show people that we're not all just stiffs with like sticks up our asses, pretty much.
Yeah,
Which
we're not
you
scary.
know
We're
a lot
pretty
of
nice.
yeah, like we run into a lot of those photographers and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, we just at the end of the day, we just fans of what we do, and we just want to keep creating art so we can gush over it. So if y'all happen to like it, y'all like it, but we just want to gush over our own work.
Want to talk yourselves up a
Exactly.
little bit. Got to be a bit humble.
Yeah, but that's it for today's episode. Again, this is Chris, aka Kodak Chris, with the Shot for Shot podcast. Autumn, the beautiful, lovely co-host, and Andrew, the beautiful, lovely guest for today. Um, Hopefully we don't see any huntsmans for the rest of the year.
Look, if I find one, I'll take a photo for you and I'll send it directly to you.
You're gonna be giving this man
Each one will be
nightmares.
bigger than the next.
Literally. Look, I'm just like progressively just you like he's just gonna get a pet huntsman at this point. Just like I'm gonna raise this just so I can bring it to you.
I'll raise it big and
Oh
strong, and
my
then you can give it a pet if you want to.
all right, guys, then
uh,
that's it. We are out for this one.
Bye.